Brett O'Farrell, so he's straight into the action in his first game of footy.
Good luck to the boy from Paran, playing his first senior game. What a thrill here at the SCG. Pretty much a full house, and he's up against a key man in Brendan Gale, Paul Kelly. Much has been said that he's carrying an injury. He'll be looking for a big game this afternoon. It was he who inspired the players on Wednesday in an all-day session. He and Andrew Dunkley. Wayne Schwass also, who started the season so well. We're looking for another big day today. Kelly and Rogers nudging, elbowing each other, still in the middle. Slightly sticky in the centre. Fairly wet day on Wednesday. Could have been a high tackle. As umpire Goldspeak comes in and quite agrees, Nick Daffy's going to get the first major kick of the game. He'll look down towards Richardson, who's looking for a bag of goals. The best he's done is 8. He's due for double figures. Richo! The flyer couldn't take it. Matty Knights is there as well. Pressure on the defence. Knights around the body. It's high into the square. A pack of 8 or 9 players, including Richardson. Creswell tries to poke it away. Can't do so. Still in the pocket. They lock it up there. Look at this, they're going in like there's no tomorrow, and it's only the opening minute as the umpire comes in and decides upon a bounce. The umpires are Martin Ellis, Darren Goldspeak and Troy Burton. Have a look at this one again, Jared.
Well, he's a great athlete, as we know, and well, he's got some bad memories of this ground. I'm sure he'd be pretty keen to turn that around with a big performance here today.
Mixed towards the boundary line and out of play. Jared, significantly, Kelly started in the centre square. There's been a lot talked about his health and physical abilities, but he's been playing forward most of the last few weeks.
He does look as if he's carrying perhaps a hernia, and I know he was on a bike right throughout a training session throughout the week.
Broderick can't bash through, and if you're looking at naming rights at the moment, both these teams are telling one another that this means a lot to each of the clubs. They're giving very little for the moment. So Kelly and Hard there again. There's Broderick, who after a couple of reserves matches has been able to get himself back. He kicked 3 goals last week for the first time in about 5 seasons at the AFL level. Tigers in attack. Sandy said it's just the best day possible for footy. Front spot, Holland, high ball, Seymour there with Evans. Orchard tries to get a handball out. We want to try and get it clear, and it'll be a bounce down. So no score here, a couple of minutes gone. Crowd coming in, and not full, in fact probably about 25 to 30,000. The weather officially 16, maybe crawling to 18, and perhaps some rain towards the end of the match.
So bounce down forward for Richmond. Tight and hard so far, with the Swans looking to move it out of defence through Wharf, and they're working hard. Comedy of errors for Sydney at the moment. A little bit of a shaky start, but Betsy comes back to Wharf, gets it on the right boot and clearing, but only as far as Michael Dale for Richmond. He in turn plays on, and the Tigers moving well and truly in for attack, and it's nullified there as Dunkley works the ball out of defence like he does so many times before.
Well, the Swans have got so many players in defence that it's allowed Richmond to have a wall of free players, and they've got to do this and kick the ball over that wall, as we just saw Stevens do.
So through the centre corridor, the Swans making a move into attack, but Richmond are going well again through Gale. He gets the handball down. Gasper is taken back to Gale, worked over the boundary line at left centre wing for Richmond.
Troy Luck and Michael Gale on that outer side.
A couple of midfield matchups, as you said earlier, Bruce. Kelly's going with Rogers, and Tawney's picked up Creswell, and those 2 players need to fire for the Swans.
Here's Dale Lewis, has ambitions of being the Lord Mayor of Ballarat. He's very ambitious, but he's found an exciting young player in Jason Saddington. Now he's got a player loose down in the forward line, but I think the youngster's going to go back and have a shot. Going to be kicking from 54 metres. Saddington, a high drop punt, but it's drifting away to the right. First score of the day on the board to the Sydney Swans.
The Swans have set their forward line up with Luff, O'Loughlin and Saddington across the half forward line. Their respective opponents are Bullis, Gasper on O'Loughlin and Harrison on Saddington, and that's a pretty vital line given that they've all pushed up the ground and left Lockett on Turner, one out in the square with plenty of space.
Martin Ellis says to Turner, come on, let's get it away to the outer side, and he does. Broderick takes a fine mark. Well, they pointed the gun at him, and he's answered in the best possible way. Gasper's been in very, very good form, but he's beaten by Wayne Schwass. Schwass in the middle, gets it clear once again. A chance for Sydney to go forward through Nix, down towards the forward line. Tawney is there defending. He's crouched to the ground. loses the footy. Turner picks it up now, gets the hand pass away to Harrison. Harrison's still in the back pocket. Around he comes, swing in towards centre wing, and once again holding it up is Mr. Nix. Hasn't missed a game this season. Down to the forward line he goes, and now they've got another shot directly in front. This time Brent O'Farrell, with his first kick in senior footy, can kick a goal.
Well, it was unfortunate there for Rogers, who let him slip through. Just lacked a little bit of concentration, and it was a nice little pass into the young man, and he'll join an exclusive club if this one goes straight through the big ones.
What a boost it would be from 45 metres. He leans back on a drop punt, and he's gone into the history books. First kick, first goal.
Well, he'll always remember that, and I think that just is full credit to Rodney Eade, who's brought him up, and rather than just putting him in cotton wool, he's thrown him straight into the middle of the ground, and he's worked forward after his roll in the middle of the ground to come up with a mark close enough to goal to convert. Good effort by the young fella, Brett O'Farrell. Check.
So, good start here for the Swans. O'Farrell getting a goal with his first kick in senior footy, and the signs early for Sydney are pretty good. Richmond will come back strongly here. This is a do-or-die game for both clubs. It's Rombotis and James and McKee and Ryan on the bench for Richmond. I haven't seen McKee before. James saw him early in the season when he was really struggling against Collingwood in that night match, but it's good to see him coming back. Pushed forward by Rogers. Lewis, important, has had a couple of touches. Handball by Ruse to Wharf, back into the centre, missed by Crouch. It was a tough ball. Orchard quick, slippery, setting to one of the recruits of the year. To Orchard, very good hands. To Crouch, Sydney looked good, he'll kick it to Locke, he's got him. That's a good build-up. That's Swans of 6-8 weeks ago. First 4 or 5 weeks of the year.
Brucey, you mentioned McKee. He was very, very impressive against North a couple of weeks ago.
And a good performance by a couple of the lesser lights, a couple of the youngsters here for Sydney to set this one up for Tony Lockett. And an important kick also, I think, Bruce. When Lockett gets a couple of goals early, I think it lifts the side.
And no doubt about that. And we've seen him this year struggle at times with his kicking. Now, in the last few weeks, he seems to be back to his best. I thought a couple of his goals at Optus last week were vintage Lockett when they needed them. In the end, it didn't count for a whole lot. He's missed that one. He's pushed it away. Won't quite get there. In the end, it got there out of bounds on the fall. But at markable height, Broderick to bring it in. And Lockett with an early touch, but a miss.
So, left half back now for Richmond as Matthew Knight tries to get it and break away from the Sydney defence.
And Brooksy Knights, he started the last centre bounce at that space between centre half forward and full forward. So he's obviously playing as a forward centreman with licence to run deep in defence as we spot him now.
So ball up right half forward for the Sydney Swans side to the boundary, but it's Matthew Knights on that ever reliable left boot, moving it forward. Evans under plenty of pressure, and it finds the boundary line, does it? Yes, we'll have another throw. And interesting, Bruce McAvaney, you were feeling that the Swans need to get the break on Richmond if they're going to win this one today.
I think they need a good start, and they've got a reasonable one, haven't they?
A couple other matchups. Lewis is with Gale. Swass is being tracked around the ground by Prescott.
So Harrison throws it onto the left boot, moving forward, and finds Evans for Richmond. Pretty scrappy encounter at the start, but you maybe expect that. Looking for Richardson as they go forward. As he nudged down, he's given away the free kick. And Andrew Dunkley will take it for the Sydney Swans. And maybe a little more than a subtle nudge.
Creswell goes to the outer side and looks for Kelly as Paul Ruse there turns 35 in just a few days' time. What a wonderful player he's been. There's the free kick once again. It wasn't too subtle, but at the same time was probably accentuated a little bit as well. Johnny Stevens applying a good tackle as Holland tries to sneak out the back door to find Broderick, but the whistle has sounded and there'll be another bounce. Matty Knights.
He was a bit unlucky there, Richard. Andrew Dunkley would have Scored a 9 off most judges at the Olympics for that dive.
Degree of difficulty.
Plenty.
Holland wins it down. Sydney are able to take it away though. Orchard towards centre wing. Gains probably 25 metres before we see a throw in on the outer side. Fans still coming in here to the SCG.
Young O'Farrell, once he's done his work at the centre bounces, is pushed up the centre half forward. He's being tracked by Brendan Gale.
Lewis off the ground. Gains another 20 metres and Gasper sees it over the line.
And the Sydney run has just been out to the young man, Brett O'Farrell, and he's told him to drag Gale out of the play, trying to get Gale away from Tony Lockett. And you can see that the Richmond coach would be wanting Gale to block up Tony Lockett's space.
Well, we can keep an eye on him right down in front of us with the Sydney Swans going left of screen. Rogers taps towards the line once again. Schwash tries to keep it in, only for a moment. But they've surged it down into the forward pocket zone, the right forward pocket here at the SCG. Just going to be a decent old slug out, this one. Lockett and Turner. Lockett a couple of years ago kicked 12 goals, 3 on this ground against this side. Anything can happen though. O'Loughlin takes it from Kelly. Spears a one-burning pass to Lockett. Well, that's a fair combination, isn't it? O'Loughlin, McKelly and Lockett.
Yeah, a lot of class and skill and plenty of courage in that trifecta. But the reason that there was enough space was because Brendan Gale elected to go up and take the boundary line throw-in, dragging him away from Tony Lockett and exposing that space in front of him.
So again, he has the chance to add to his half century that he has so far this season. 35 metres out. He just leans back and pops through the first for the day. Lockett gets his first and Sydney get their second. A positive start here in front of their home crowd.
Yes, that's I think that what they needed to do, the Swans, get away to a 3 or 4 goal lead in that first quarter, and then maybe that gives them something to build on. No doubt Richmond will come back, but if Richmond burst onto the SCG and took a 4 or 5 goal lead into quarter time, the confidence of the Swans must be a little bit shallow at the moment. Could well be shattered.
So the crowd getting behind Sydney here. O'Farrell was good there. I reckon he took his hands away, about 8 metres away from that kick of O'Loughlin, and allowed it to go through to Lockett. 13-0 here. So the Tigers need the next one. Gale and O'Farrell at it hard. Handball out by Gasper. Now Powell, who can penetrate here, and he takes a chance, runs into some trouble. Rogers under pressure, but gets the ball well inside 50. Nick's underneath it. Good mark. Evans in a little bit late. Nick's has started well here as a link-type player. Now Orchard will take Bowden on a bit, but he only kicked it as far as Richardson. Couldn't get it out of the danger zone, and Richardson could have a crack from here.
Tough spot to shoot from there, Bruce, but no doubt he'll be able to make the distance. Interesting, though, that Matthew Knight's not going into the centre bounces.
Richardson 52 metres out as he kicks. It's a very strong kick for distance. It's a behind. So the Tigers get their first score. It's been good, Richardson. He's kicked 4 goals in his last 4 matches. There's so much to talk about him. I know that every time we sit down and have a talking footy meeting, it goes for an hour, and Mike Sheehan talks about Richardson for about 55 minutes, and then we get on with the show. Nick's to bring it in.
So Nick's had a positive start to the game as they contested. Dunkley and Harrison go at it. Comes to ground. Knights is down there, as well as Dale Lewis, Creswell, and like from the start of the game, very, very tight with just over 10 minutes left in this first quarter. As the umpire balls it up right half forward for Richmond. They were tough all day last week, Richmond against North Melbourne, as the Swans look to mop up onto the left boot. Stevens, but that's intercepted. And Knights once again covering some territory is Matty Knights. Onto Evans, onto Michael Gale. Might have been out. No, he says it was in, and bang, hits the chest of Matthew Richardson. But interesting to see the replay if that did go over the boundary line.
Well, she's on the scorebook now that it didn't, but let's have a look and let's see. I think he did actually manage to keep it in control. Certainly his legs went over the boundary line, but the ball is what counts, and Richo lines up for a pretty important goal. The Tigers need to get on the board.
So 2 kicks in 2 minutes for Matty Richardson, and off the side of the boot he slewed it, as Bruce McAvaney mentioned. Plenty of distance, but the accuracy has been a problem early for Richardson.
And isn't Mike Sheen going to have a field day on Monday if this keeps up?
Don't encourage him.
Well, you start, man.
I know, I should have.
Nix to bring it back into play. This has been a good start, though, to this game. 13 plays 2. Matthew to himself, and he comes out wide. Now, Harris has been in pretty good form of late, too, but this time Dunkley has the better of him. The 2 veterans there. Over he goes to Paul Roos. Roos looks towards Troy Luff. Just a little too wide for him. He needs help from Kelly. Look at Kelly. Held it for a long time. Harrison claimed. Loser once again to Tawney. Kelly backs up again for a second time, and somehow to the corner of his eye sees Darren Creswell. Creswell goes for home, and bang, puts through another one.
Well, it was like an absolute bulldozer in that pack, Paul Kelly. I don't know how he ended up with the football. He had it in his grasp about 4 times. He just would not lay down and die. He wouldn't concede that he was going to miss out in the possession, and he was the player that ended up getting the ball by virtue of a very quick kick to Darren Creswell, who ignored Tony Lockett and did it pretty successfully, straight through the middle. 3 goals, a good start here by Sydney.
Next goal's important. Big play here. Big difference between 3 against 1 and 4 and 0. Tigers have got to stand up now and stop this, and Kelly has been very important early. Just the fact that he's been in the centre square. Broderick well played. To Evans, who delivers. Richardson, Dunkley. Richardson a chance over the back. Nix to get back. Runs it out of play. Boundary throw in.
I guess the difference between the 2 sides just at the moment, Bruce, is that when Sydney have gone forward, they have converted their chances. They've had some set kicks. When Richmond have gone forward, they have missed a couple of shots at goal, in particular from set kicks that should have been converted.
Just kept their forward line nice and open to the Swans, haven't they? Whereas Sydney's been, Richmond's been a bit blocked up. Power runs it out. Another boundary throw in. So it's 19-2 here. The goals from O'Farrell, Lockett and Creswell. Interchange coming up. Ryan will come on for Tawney, so an early move here from Jeff Geeshan. First time he's coached this ground at senior level, and against Rodney Eve.
Tawney was playing on Darren Creswell. Creswell kicked the last goal, and maybe that is just a move to remind Tawney he has to be a bit tighter than he was.
Holland to do the ruck work. Roos maybe to go against him. Or Lewis by the look of it. So they're pretty short there, the Swans. Roos's handball. Orchard is good to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin in the back pocket. Centering kick. Danger here. Important ball. Rogers attacks hard. It comes back to Ryan from Evans. That was Bowden and marked by Richardson. So he's getting plenty of it, Richardson. He's quick off the mark. It was interesting last week. Jared Pearce got a lot of the ball against Dunkley. They thought Dunkley played all right, but Pearce kicked 5, and Richardson already has had 3 chances to score.
But just have a look where this kick goes. Into that hole, and what an amazing amount of space there, particularly against this Sydney back line, and get extra help. Good performance by the Tigers to find space.
Can't miss this one, and he's drilled it, so that's the important goal. Richardson with 1-2 to his name, and now Richmond tighten up.
Well, they desperately needed that goal. They've gone into their forward line half a dozen times without a result. And here's Mickey O'Loughlin dragging the ball back into the danger zone. I'm not sure his coach would be all that pleased. There wasn't a man in particular he was going for. Quick turnover. Swans players on the attack. Not enough defensive players down there supporting Dunkley. And Richo gets his first.
So just under 8 minutes left in this first quarter. We have a game on our hands now as Richardson did score his first goal for the Tigers. The bounce favours the Sydney Swans. They try and go forward through Creswell, but it's repelled by Richmond, and they go forward once again. Richmond, clever, very, very clever. Comes down to Knights eventually, and mopping up once again is Darren Creswell. Lewis is in plenty of trouble, and Richmond thrown on the right boot. And what's he done? Bowden has kicked another one for the Tigers, and it's on.
Well, a fast attack from Richardson came out. I thought he was going to knock the ball on, but he was pretty quick to think that the best move was down to a couple of waiting forwards. Knights just a little fumble there. The Swans swarming. And if you win the ball quickly out of the centre, the pressure is always on the defensive side. And Bowden just emphasising what a talented player he is.
Yes, Matty Richardson figuring in both the Tigers' first 2 goals. 5 points the margin. Gale in ruck wins it, but taken away by Kelly over the head of Luff down towards the half-forward line. It sits in this soft turf, but it's going to be okay for Richmond as it's Paul Bullis who takes the hand pass, goes out wide. Bowden is there and is taken to the line by Rowan Wharf, who's back in this lineup after a 3-week shoulder problem, but he's a very, very handy player to come back.
Well, Jeff Geeshan started without his 2 key playmakers in the middle of the ground outside of the square. He's taken Tawney off the ground. Maybe it wasn't disciplinary. He's put Broderick into the square, who is a creative player, and since that move they've kicked a couple of goals.
Holland down into the forward line, only to see it marked by Matthew Nix. Has done very well this season, has not missed a game and has been highly effective. Wide towards centre wing.
Beautiful kick.
It's okay. O'Farrell takes the mark coming from Wharf. O'Farrell, the youngster, towards O'Loughlin. Good contest by Darren Gasper, who's got the job on him. O'Loughlin first to recover, but he pulls the kick a little too far. It passes Evans, but not Daffy. The Ducks kick goes back towards Bowden. Bowden is there with Seymour. At the back is Dunkley, and it's left to Andrew Dunkley. Thought about the left foot kick, then pops the hand pass out in front of O'Loughlin. He's in trouble, was surrounded by 4. One of them was Knight, another one's Benny Gale. Back over the top towards Knights it goes. Intercepting was Bowden. Back to Gasper. Gasper, a high drop punt over the head of Richardson. He's got a back pedal. He does, and he's got it. Well, the Tigers might have been slow started. He thought about Broderick, but now he decides to go back. They started a little slowly, or Sydney started very fast. Now this kick for Richmond to hit the front. Right forward pocket, but he can see a little bit of daylight between those posts. He starts it right, doesn't come back, it's a behind.
And it looks like the move has been made with Dunkley pushing up the ground and Rowan Wharf going back onto Richo. I was impressed by that passage of play though by Gasper. It was just a very quick assessment of what sort of kick was going to put Richardson into advantage. He kicked it long and over the top of Rowan Wharf's head, which allowed Richardson to take that mark.
Wayne Schwass to bring it back into play. Also going to himself, the left footer. Well, I don't think it was as he liked, but Seymour and Orchard will help him tidy up. They do exactly that, but the kick is a poor one, straight to Harrison.
Centre wing, you're dead right there, Sandy. It was a pretty ordinary kick and not a great build-up. Richardson the target, Wharf back there at the back, and to Seymour and out of play. Is Dunkley running up the ground, and I'm not sure if he's actually still on Richardson or not, Gerard, or whether they just slot in when Dunkley's trying to get up the ground and give them some marking power, I think, from those kick-ins. Yeah. Lewis, Creswell to himself, and then okay to Seymour. Terrible handball. Michael Gale's onto it. Orchard to try and stop him. Nick's in there, well played. Kelly kept his head down low. Seymour, another ordinary handball. Daffy did really well. Did very well. Another one. That's a terrific goal. And now the signs are good for the Tigers after Sydney got an early jump. Richmond back hard and a couple of errant handballs. The second one maybe not that bad. The first one was ordinary, but Daffy was good enough to cut the second one off.
Yeah, Seymour put them under pressure. Has there ever been a player that gets the ball as quickly to his boot around goals as Nick Daffy? And he does it so accurately often enough to make him a valuable player. He's having a fantastic season for the Tigers.
So the Tigers are starting to dominate Richmond under 5 minutes as it's a 2-point lead at Tigerland. And back in the centre as the Rucks go at it. Big Benny Gale gets it to ground and tight in there, hard in there as you'd expect, off the ground. And what's he called? A bit of a soft free kick.
Well, he's called kicking in a manner which was going to cause injury. But the ball was there to be kicked and it was really, I think, legitimate.
So Paul Roos dishes off to Dunkley. Need to get some system about their play in the defence to the Swans as they try and push forward, but it's all Richmond eventually coming down through Powell, and he goes into the centre of the ground, and that man Daffy has been sensational once again. And it looks all Tigers at the moment. The wheels for the moment anyway have fallen off the Swans. Harrison gets the ball under pressure from Swans. He throws it onto the boot as Crummers there for the Sydney Swans, working it back out of defence. Saddington eventually comes to him as they work it out through Nix. He's been solid the first quarter. And finally some system about the Swannies play. And the skipper, Paul Kelly, takes it with Bullis on the mark, runs around looking for Dale Lewis, but has been intercepted and eventually found the boundary at right half-forward pocket for the Sydney Swans, and a disconsolate-looking Dale Lewis.
Well, it was a very good interception by the Tigers there, just knocking the ball over the boundary line. Paul Kelly was looking for Lewis, but a number of players just flooding down, and it was Andrew Callaway that just got a hand on it and knocked it over the boundary line. Carey onto the ground for the Swans.
Yeah, Stephen is on. And Farrell doing the ruck work up against Gale. Kelly has been very busy trying to inspire. The O'Loughlin pass was smothered. Kelly will go again, but he'll run into Benny Gale. Pushes it wide. A chance for O'Loughlin. Picks it up now. Still outside 50. Oh, a couple of Tigers just about colliding there. They're going to be all right. Matthew Knights eventually takes it away, and that was from Callaway. Now it's Michael Gale. And he can bounce his way around half-back. Chip towards centre wing, and Bowden takes the mark. Troy Luff on the mark.
Just at the moment, the skill's really hurting the Sydney Swans, and Richmond have been far more accurate with their kicking skills.
Bowden to half-forward. Powell, the left footer waiting down, is dangerous in front of goal. Very dangerous in front of goal. How's that for a kick? Has kicked his first, came into this game with 11 to his name, and now Daffy, Bowden, Richardson and Powell have surged the Tigers to the lead. 4-3, plays 3-1.
It's been a blitz here, Sandy, in the last 6 or 7 minutes. All Tigers, they just seem to have settled better on this ground, as if they've worked out the angles almost, how they're going to run together, how far they can go at either end of the ground to still control it. And I think the important point is that they've pushed down into defence well enough to block up Tony Lockett often enough to really turn this game around.
Kicked the last 4 after Sydney got the first 3. Creswell out of the centre. Kelly trying to break free. He's going to get a free kick against Rogers. Kelly's been good. Gives it out to Roos. Roos outside his distance for the moment. Pops it up to Lockett, who's got 1-on-2. And front spot Harrison held his ground and has won a free kick. As Gerard was saying a moment ago, they've been able to get the numbers back on Plugger. Harrison wide, wants Daffy's got him. Last time Sydney led at quarter time in a match this year was in round 5.
Oh.
Taken by Schwass. Schwass on the left. It was out of play, was it? Boundary throwing.
I think Matthew Knight's a little bit unlucky there not to get the push in the back. I think it was against Stevens, who almost took the mark.
At that point, Brooksy had turned me off and put the cough button on. So someone showed Brooksy the cough button. Coming back, Nix. He obviously didn't like that stat about Sydney not leading a quarter time. Creswell's little kick. It's all yours, Neil.
Oh, thanks, mate. As Troy Luff comes back, drives along looking for Lockett, and plenty of attention as they swept back. But the big fella's got it. Strong hands.
It was a great kick, though, to position, wasn't it? It was absolutely pinpoint perfect. And that's coming from Troy Luff, who has pushed down into the defensive area after starting across the half-back line. And Callaway, you just thought may have just got a finger on that, but Lockett snaffled it.
I feel like he's going to have to kick about 8 today, don't you, for them to win it?
Well, that's the way they set their forward line up too, with just Lockett down there in that full forward position.
So Plugger lines up for his second. Very deliberate shot at goal. Looks pretty good off the boot, but he's off target. A bit like myself with the cough button. And through for a behind.
Well, he's working at about 25% at the present stage. Tony Lockett could have had 3 or 4 goals minimum. And, well, that's just not what the Swans need. Matthew Knights is going to do what he does so often these days for Richmond, and that's become the designated kicker.
Which he does, but just goes short to Turner, tucked in the back pocket. Michael Gale is on the half-back line, gives it away again, a chance to perhaps set something up towards Bowden on centre wing. A little too wide for him and Troy Luff, and it beats them over the line.
Just wonder, Bruce, you might be able to add some information on this discussion, whether or not that little kick to Matthew Knight should be counted as a statistic.
I hope not.
They are.
You're joking.
Of course they are.
Didn't realise that. Well, we learn something every day. Well, I think we should change that rule.
Not the kick over the boundary line, the kick out, the following one.
A little chip. Stevens' kick also is out of bounds on the full.
I mean, in essence, it's still just a kick out, isn't it?
Agreed.
Just chat amongst yourselves, you two, as Knights brings it back into play.
Sort of a quarter-time discussion that when you're off air, isn't it?
I'm still trying to find the cough button.
Powell to half forward, or Stephen Carey went very early. Richardson at the back, tried to soccer it forward. Carey looking to get in the thick of things. And they'll lock it up for a ball up. 45 metres out from the Tigers scoring zone. It's been one-way traffic as far as scoring's concerned in the past 15 minutes, with Richmond coming from behind to snatch the lead. Tony Jewell, the chairman of selectors, and their reserves coach also down there as well, as Carey traps it. Holland trapped him, then asks the question more in hope than anything else. And there'll be another bounce. 7 points the margin. Jeff Geeshan also down on the sidelines.
Paul Kelly in the forward pocket.
Carey blanketed out of it. Sydney, however, have the numbers to go here. Lewis will pick it up. An errant hand pass. Richardson off the ground.
Free kick.
Fortunately for Dale Lewis.
Actually didn't see what the free kick was for, but
nor did I, Jared.
No matter whether he was infringed or not, it was a poor option by Dale Lewis, and it's exactly what has created a couple of goals already for Richmond.
Oh, look out, Saddington. Beautiful smother by Powell. Saddington's forced to go again. He does a ball-like hand pass, finishes with Troiler from Orchard, but the siren has sounded. Well, if the first quarter is a sign of things to come, we're going to be in for a big day here at the SCG, because Sydney came out all guns blazing and stormed away to a 13-point lead. Then the Tigers got on the board and hit back very, very hard indeed. Goals to Daffy, Bowden, Richardson and Powell, whilst for Sydney, Tony Lockett, Creswell and Fred O'Farrell. A goal with his first kick, but they trail by 7 points at the first change. And our boundary rider too. As we go into the second quarter here at the SCG, hope you're enjoying this top action on 7 Sport. Right around the country, Benny Gale gets a decent old run at the youngster Brett O'Farrell and says, this is what it's all about, see what you can do. Broderick tries to win it out of the middle, and he does, with a left footer down towards left half forward. Luff and Bowden towards the line. Luff leads in the race. He trapped it nicely in the end, and Troy Luff does well, coming to centre wing and finding Dale Lewis. Lewis plays on quickly to Johnny Stevens, forced onto the right boot, chips it back in. It was like a 9-iron back in towards the half-forward line. Prescott takes a fine mark. He's between half-back and centre wing and goes over the head of Wayne Schwass up towards Holland. Tries to take it over the top of Roos, not quite successful. Roos locks him up, and there'll be a bounce.
Stephen Carey now playing at centre half forward. We saw Luff picking up possession across the half-back line. That's where he started the quarter.
Umpire Troy Burt just into the Tigers attacking zone. Holland with the left hand is effective. Belted back towards Kelly. Pumps it high and long towards half forward. And a strong mark taken by O'Farrell. He's made a very impressive debut, the young man. Goes down towards Kelly once again. Knights is with him, the two skippers. Kelly appeared to be held. Harrison goes into assist and eventually takes it over the line. And Knights is also asking the question, why?
Free kick.
He's got it. He's got it, yeah.
Well, it was paid for holding, and it almost looked to be a hometown decision, this one. He may have had him just for a split second, but that is not a free kick, particularly from an umpire that's plucked that decision from 60, 70 metres away.
Bottom line is, however, Kelly has it. Philandia has come onto the ground. He was a late change with Robbie Armat. If you've just tuned in, not taking his place in the senior lineup. Kelly from 46 metres. An important kick for Sydney. An excellent kick for Sydney. If anyone can pop them up, he will.
Well, you've got to take the breaks when they come your way. Often it works against you, but that was, I think, a pretty ordinary free kick. But Paul Kelly has slotted that one straight through the middle, and he's a player whose goal kicking, I think, has drastically improved over the last couple of years, particularly from set shots. But that's one that will haunt Matthew Knights, I'm sure, particularly if it's a close result at the end of the day.
So the Swans get the first goal of the second term through Kelly. As Jared said, he has really improved his goal kicking in the last couple of seasons. 23 this season, but he hasn't missed too many. And that was a big kick. O'Farrell out of the centre, and he's going well. Kellaway brought to ground. Sydney sparked up here. Creswell to Kelly. Kelly rode the bump. and then handballed out to Lewis. Well played, Michael Gale. The game's lifted a notch or two. Maxfield smothers, back to Harrison. Harrison, Maxfield's got it! Swan, no, missed. Behind, scores 11. Looked to goal, but the goal umpire quickly across, and Stewie's miss from about 20 metres out, but it was a good play by him because he made the interception in the first place. And no doubt Rodney Eads, sensational, Kelly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Poor tackle there from Buller. Should have been the tackle, not the bump.
Shoulder, yeah.
But great signs there for Sydney. Their forward line really working hard in the 1%ers. Good pressure, good tackling, good bumps, created the opportunity, but Maxfield couldn't finish.
So the jumper lead's well and truly out. And looking a little recharged now, the Sydney Swans, as Benny Gale comes back, moving it along, finds Turner, who sells the dummy onto the right boot, looking in the nice direction, but all Sydney, and he's had a very impressive start, has Matty Nix. He dishes off to Creswell, and son of Rocket Eade, Philandia on the ground and getting his first touch. Stephen Carey calling for it, but he weaves a bit of magic, and it's got to go long. You're gone, son.
High tackle.
Very, very lucky to get away with that. Maybe son of the umpire said he was.
But pretty high tackle.
Philandia, lucky to get away with it. Orchard, as Sydney try and set something up. And what about the start by this fella O'Farrell?
Good position and then a good mark. He's just got away from his man a couple of times now. And it's been quite an auspicious debut by young Brett O'Farrell, and I'm sure Slug Jordan would be very pleased. He was under his commission at the Paran Dragons a couple of years ago. He was a high draft selection, and the Swans have just held him back, and he's come in under what is a very pressured situation.
So he's kicked one, been instrumental in another, lines up for his second. Looks pretty good off the boot, the crowd like it, and the Swans back in front.
Well, he's doing it all, young Brett O'Farrell. He's taking taps, he's getting the ball out of the centre, and then he's pushing forward to play as a half-forward flank, pretty tall half-forward flanker. They've also got Stephen Carey on the other flank, sandwiching Saddington. So a tall half-forward line, but it is paying dividends. Because they're getting the ball down into the one-out situation. He has shown, obviously, he's a pretty good mark.
So the Swans hit back hard here at the SCG. A couple of goals early in the second term. Farrell gets his second, and infringement out of the square. And it's going to go the way of Richmond to be taken by Benny Gale. Smack bang in the middle. Here he goes, down towards the half-forward line. Evans uses some muscle, and illegally so, says the umpire. It's given away a free kick. Come back to Andrew Dunkley. He'll take it at fullback. Plays on quickly now. Gives it away to Creswell. Darren Creswell's kick is going to drop short. Roos may be able to steal it. Trying to hold it up as Ryan. Now Harrison. Maxfield got caught in the tangle. Harrison gets a chance to go again. Ryan couldn't quite juggle. Harrison for a third time. Taken to ground. Prescott keeps it in play. Kicks down towards the 50. Chance for Luff. Is beaten by Evans, picked up by Holland. Holland's centering kick. O'Loughlin couldn't take it. The door may open for Gasper, but Kelly's right on his hammer. Gasper goes. He's been in exciting form. Look at this. Around O'Loughlin. Sold it beautifully too. Puts the hand pass out in front for Rogers. Rogers, 25 metres out, brings it back towards goal. And what's he done? He has put it through. So Rogers gets his first. Hasn't missed a game this year, Matty Rogers, and the Tigers answer.
What a passage of play by Darren Gasper. I'd have to line up the other options, but he's just about the best centre-half back in the game at the present time. He really is a talented player. He can play on smalls, he can play on talls. He's got great flexibility. The handball was a little bit shabby, to say the least, but Rogers was in enough space to complete what was a very good goal. Great turnaround.
Sydney playing without a loose man in defence too, which doesn't happen too often here. 5-3 apiece. Gale, O'Farrell, who's made a very big start to his league career. Creswell getting a fair bit of the footy now. Kellaway, that's a good mark. Going back with it. Turner delivers out wide. Wants Bullis, has got him. So Richmond steadying here, scores level, 5-3 apiece. Carey's been reported, is it? Looks like it. Well, certainly looked at his number.
Just going back to Darren Gasper, Michael O'Loughlin's been pushed into the centre of the ground, and Gasper got such flexibility, he's going with him all the way. So we have a look at that incident. Not sure he was reported, Bruce, was he?
No, well, he looked at his, I don't know. He looked at his number. Maybe Dipper can check that up. Nix's kick to half forward. You wouldn't have thought having a look at the incident. Oh, good speed. Saddington, and coming back close. He might have got a beauty. He has. Oh, that's a good one. This game's lifting, isn't it? I mean, it's gone up a notch since quarter time. 6-3 to 5-3. Got some good kids out there, haven't they?
I was going to say, it's been the youngsters of the Swans that are doing the job for them. And that was just a bad error by Ben Harrison. He just didn't quite judge it enough. And on the end of it was one of the very talented youngsters in the competition. So we've seen O'Farrell, and now we've seen Saddington do the job for the Swans in this quarter.
So Sydney back in front. Sydney back in front by a goal through one of the recruits of the year that's been mentioned earlier in Saddington. As things tighten up here, Benny Gale gets the touch down. Comes only as far as Crouch, who goes long, looking for Stephen Carey, but Bullis has the sit, running back onto it, comes to ground, maybe should have taken it. It's being bottled up, looking for a free kick, but left half forward for Sydney.
Good effort there by Stephen Carey. He was in a 2-on-1 situation. He was never going to mark the ball, and he just neutralised it.
So Richmond trying to bottle up the offence. Comes to Maxfield. He's a left footer. That suits him. Centre. Looks for Lockett, and he's taken it, the big fella. And the pendulum swings once again.
Just a really good illustration of his acceleration, Jared, wasn't it? Of Lockett, off the mark, quick.
That's why he's such a dangerous forward, because he's got so much strength and bulk, but accompanying it, he's got that brilliant speed. I think most rugby league scouts would just look in awe on this bloke. He'd be an awesome front rower.
So Tony Lockett looking to be a multiple goal scorer. Maybe snuck it through. Yes, he has. Sydney out by 12 points.
Brooksy, you'd follow the rugby league. Are there any front rowers that can kick like that?
I don't think there's anyone in rugby league who can kick like that, isn't it?
Great performance by the Swans in this quarter. They look to have found some energy. They really have. They look a different side in this quarter, which is a great credit to them at the moment. There's the mark. It was a line ball decision. May well have been a bump ball in cricket, but in football it was paid as a mark here at the SCG.
So they've got the chant going up, the red and white here at the SCG. But only a couple of kicks the difference. 7-3 plays 5-3. O'Farrell again. Impressive to Kelly. Short kick. Away from the centre. Ryan and Bullis both get B-grade bounces. Not so Creswell. Down towards Lockett. Now which way will it bounce for he and Turner? Nicely, I thought initially for Turner. Now he's got to go again. Paddles it well. Gets it out to Broderick. He'll swing it to the left foot. Into the open spaces. Giving his teammates a chance to run. They'll do exactly that. Nice pick up by Ryan. Tumbles it back towards Benny Gale. Look out. Lovedale Lewis has got you. Applied the tackle, but Michael Gale was able to get there in time to get it off to Rogers. Back to Gale. No, ignores him. Goes wider inboard to Broderick. Broderick comes to Prescott. Prescott beats Wayne Swass. Prescott with a high, long kick up towards full forward. Richardson at the back. Plays on and goes. The quick reply for the Tigers.
Well, that's one of the best passages of play that we've seen here this afternoon. Great stuff in defence. Scotty Turner, after a near miss, got the ball going forward for the Tigers, and then it was just good skills. And that was the interesting handball. Michael Gale could have gone wide to one Tiger, but he went inside, and Michael Gale set that one up. Pretty good mark there by Ashley Prescott, and one out. Richo tough to beat.
(7-3 to 6-3 here, so 45-39. Knights now in the centre square, so change there. Gale out of the centre, couldn't quite get a grip on it. Now free kick against Staffy's for hanging on and going to Crouch. So maybe a bit ticky-touch good, but Crouch has got it. Pushes wide to Creswell. Both teams have lifted here. High standard match now. And Creswell away from half-back and belts the ball long to half-forward. Kelly got a good fly, but Harrison from the side and Saddington, and probably the right decision called to play on, and it'll be a bounce. About 50 metres from the Swans' goal. Kelly started well. Harrison having his best season, was good last year. And here we have 3 or 4. Harrison maybe should have belted it away, but had the confidence to go for it. But O'Farrell's knockout straight to Knights. Knights to Daffy. Daffy away on the run. A couple of bounces and then delivers wide. It's a good kick to Bowden. Bowden at 55 metres. Now Richardson's been very, very useful up forward. His ability to spring is worrying Dunkley and his pace. Bowden's got Harrison short, but he's probably better option. He may go all the way here, Bowden. He has a beautiful kick. He's going to wind himself up, and look at this one. Going and going and going and going straight through the middle. Oh, that's a great goal. That's 2 goals to Bowden. Isn't it handy when you've got a forward outside 50 who has the confidence to stand and then deliver? Scores a level here. It's 7-3 apiece.
As Stewie Maxfield comes off the ground, and Matthew Knight's positioned himself beautifully at that bounce down. It was hit straight to him. And then, well, that's one of the best left foot passes you'd ever see in AFL football. A fantastic pass by Daffy set up Joel Bowden. And as you said, Bruce, not many players can kick from outside 50 accurately.
So once again, the scores are level. Get the feeling we could be saying that quite often today. 2 great kicks from Daffy and Bowden as Stephen Carey goes up against Gale. Comes down, Swans into attack through Paul Kelly, but sweating back nicely was Kellaway. In turn, he found Powell, and they move it nicely out of defence. Daffy covering plenty of ground, but under pressure, and the thump from behind puts the Swans back into attack. Daffy quickly on the right boot, mopping up pretty well, and the mark is being paid to Damien Ryan. So right centre wing, and Gasper has the fly. Attention from O'Loughlin, and Gasper will get the free kick. Just over 10 minutes left in this first quarter, and a good athlete is Darren Gasper.
It's a 50-metre penalty. This is unbelievable play. I think it was Michael O'Loughlin who came from behind. It may have been Paul Kelly. To apply some pressure on Gasper, who was really just taking his kick from that mark. Here he is. Not sure why it was paid, yeah?
So now, a set shot to put Richmond back in front from Gasper. He'd back him from here. He was fantastic against Carey last week. Darren Gasper.
Well, it's interesting the decision to allow him to go all the way with Michael O'Loughlin, because as soon as he went into the centre, I know he created that goal, but then the Swans piled on 2 or 3 goals, and they did look as if they lacked his poise across the half-back line.
So he sets for goal, and as mentioned from Sydney, they'd like to have him in the red and white today, Darren Gasper, but he shoots for the Tigers and has pushed it across the face of goal and through for a minor score, but enough to give them the lead.
Defender's kick.
Playing as a ruck rover now, Sanders.
7-4 plays 7-3. Very good player. Very. So a point in it. And a good contest. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you may be watching as Nix goes to the outer side. We've got a throw in that position. Gasper the defender. There's Paul Roos approaching a major milestone. This is his 347th game. Just almost 100 ahead of Tony Lockett, who's 248. Fine tackle. Greased lightning, you call that. Lockett back towards the centre now. That was on the half volley. Evans, however, takes the hand pass. The minder goes with a high long bomb. He wants Richardson. Richardson is edged out by Dunkley, who slams it to the line. Says, get that one, Richo. And he can't, so a throw in the right forward pocket for the Tigers. Dunkley knows he's got a job on his hands today. From the throw in. A behind conceded by Darren Creswell.
The way the Gasper's going around the ground, it may well be that it's Rodney Eaton that has to drag Michael O'Loughlin back to the half-forward line to get Gasper away from the play. He's threatened to kick a goal 3 times in the last 5 minutes.
This time it's Kelly who brings it back into play. Lewis was the flyer, couldn't take the mark. Gale was there, socket off the ground by Orchard, going 25 metres. Barry comes charging to it. Powell is there also. Barry first to it, still going, pushing the ball along in front. Needs assistance from the back. It came in the form of Orchard. Johnny Stevens is there also. Orchard eventually has to do it on his own. Chips it cleverly in towards the middle. Oh, Lewis and Carey got an awful bounce, but Carey tied us up. Should be a goal to Creswell. He lets fly from 50 metres. It's long, it's high, and it's good. Darren Creswell gets his second. Sydney edge in front.
And a good conversion by Darren Creswell, who is a very good shot for goal on the run. But they were pretty lucky because both players made the very basic error of letting that ball bounce. Fortunately, it bounced to their advantage. And Creswell was just hanging off the pack and got through with a goal.
And again, Kelly and Creswell providing goal scoring options for the Swans from the midfield. 8-3 to 7-5. The lead has changed in this quarter on 4 occasions. So a real thriller here. Very good game. Schwass ricochets away. Luff. Well done to Nix. Back to Luff. Sydney is showing signs, but the Tigers are not going to go away. That wasn't such a good kick, and Gasper able to get over O'Loughlin. Gasper's high ball, wide. And Swans in the front spot. Probably a free kick to Nix, I think, against the Tigers. It was marked anyway by Luff, so Nix has got it a half back. He's looking to come across the ground. He's got Luff very short. He's got Wharf a mile away, but he'll probably now go basically down the line and kick it as far as he can. Carey's a target with him. Bullis belts the ball away. O'Loughlin and Gale. The ball still to be won. Ryan's hands were good to Powell. Powell on his wrong side. Beautiful kick. Broderick had to stretch. Luff's going to have to hold it up here. Did well. Wharf ran into Nix, unfortunately for the Swans. Back turn was fantastic. Can he take another one on? O'Loughlin's hands were quick. Good play. Orchard lovely. This is to Creswell. Terrific build-up. Can go over the top to Saddington. If it sits, he can kick another one. He's 50 out, the kid. Sells a dummy. Takes a man on. Left-hand handball. Schwass wants a free kick. Doesn't get it. Lockett to take 5 on. Wants the footy plugger. Well done. Holds it up. Gets it back out to O'Farrell. O'Farrell turns. Twists. What a big play this is. Tigers holding it up. Knight's under pressure. Knight's still with it. Knights has done well. Turner's got it. Huge footy that.
Fantastic football, pressure personified as Turner ends up getting it back. They work it out of defensive tight, sells the dummy on Crouch as Richmond clear. And what about the endeavour by Plugger as the ball with Rowan Wharf and Broderick. Plenty of attention there, and the Swans will get the free kick. But there's a player down behind play there and looks in all kinds of problem.
Could be
So the ball back through the centre corridor. Schwass running onto it. Prescott too good though. Keeps his feet running hard on the right boot. Back into attack are the Tigers. And it comes down. Richardson waiting for it. Pressure from Luff. Runs out on the boundary line.
And it is. I'm just having a look at the other end, Brooksy. It is Paul Bullis. He's got an ankle problem maybe. Have a look at him there. And we can see the incident here.
Plugger just wanted the footy. Eyes only for it. Maybe even a knee or something there. He looks in all kinds of trouble.
So Matthew Knight's lucky that he's still
alive.
Meantime, a free kick has been found for Holland. And
unbelievable, Knights.
It's like a semi-trailer running over a rabbit. He just slaughtered Matthew Knight. Matthew Knight's just composed and good enough to still get the kick away. It was a tremendous performance.
But meantime, Holland lines up to put the Tigers back in front. It is all happening here at the SCG. Deliberate shot, holding up, not going to make the distance. They contest the mark and not going to be paid. Rowan Wharf had a claim on it. All tied up, going to be a ball up. 6 minutes left as Sydney currently leading by 4 points.
A thriller if you may have just joined us. Hope you're enjoying it. Finals atmosphere here at the SCG. It's an old cliche, but it's very apt for this game. Cook on the ground too for Sydney. Dunkley decides to give away a behind. Bullis still out there in the hands of the trainers. We'll keep an eye on him as Luff takes the kick in front of Bowden in the back pocket. Has a look downfield. He's got Saddington relatively short. Elects to go towards Johnny Stevens, who can fly. And a quick recovery by that player was very good indeed. Gets it away to Nix. Matthew Nix from centre winger, floated towards half forward. O'Farrell was the target, couldn't quite take it. Rogers runs into a brick wall. Now Pole have no option but to come in and have a bounce. 51 plays 48. Sydney leads.
Here's that tackle on Knights that we were referring to. There's Stevens, but watch for Plugger coming out.
Here comes Plugger.
Of the blind side. Down goes Matthew.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes a Kenworth. Kellaway to right half forward. Now who's going to be first to recover? Broderick, the left footer, will try and swing round, pop it back just a little to Harrison. Harrison looks towards the 50-metre line. That's okay. The mark is taken by Daffy. Been in very good form. Daffy's 55 metres out.
Yes, and against the Swans, and most clubs these days, you've got to make your mind up whether or not you're going to have a set kick very quickly or pass the ball off, because if you take any time to consider, then they get the extra players into defence.
Kicked one in the first term. Then going for distances, sprayed it to the right. One behind. Paul Bullis on the sidelines. Michael Gale there with him. Dipper will keep us informed of just what the problem is with Paul.
He's just trying to catch his breath at the moment. It looks like he's getting very winded in the tummy area down there.
Thanks, Dipper. Ball winded in the tummy. Dr. Dippy Domenico. Harrison out the back door. Is going to be run down by the Schwatter.
Stephen McKee has taken Paul Bullis's spot on the ground. Michael Gale's also just come back on, interchanging for John Rombotis.
It's Rombotis back in the team today. Hasn't had a lot of on-field time. Chris Bradshaw down there, the doctor for Richmond Footy Club. We saw him a moment ago with Bullis. Clever tap back, Crouch. He put on a big tackle a couple of minutes ago in the centre of the ground, boundary throwing. So, very good game, 8-3-7-7. Don't know about you at home, but sitting here, I reckon 5 times today I thought Sydney was travelling like winners, and the other 5 times you thought that the Tigers were well and truly on top. It's been one of those matches, and I think it might tease us right to the wire, this one. Kick by Powell away into the centre. Broderick has been good. Creswell's been probably slightly better. Kick off the ground by Daffy. Wharf onto it. A very important play now. O'Loughlin, Nix is on here. If he can get it to Nix, and he's kicked the ball to Nix. Not a great kick, but he's found him. Quickly on here to Kelly, surely. Kelly got it now. Will he try and play on? He was just held up. The O'Loughlin kick took just a fraction too long really to get there. Now he does, Kelly. 50 out. Gives it everything he's got, Kelly. And drills it. Beautiful. You can see it coming.
Yeah, he went pretty wide on the approach to goal. The ball was obviously on, and he failed to pick it up, the fellow on the mark, and Kelly just converted with almost ease. He really is an improved player in front of goal. As you said, Bruce, Nix set himself. Rogers left Kelly pretty early, but he had to hold him up. And that's why Kelly ended up with a pretty easy mark. Andrew Kellaway left him, picked up Kelly, but wasn't able to read Kelly's dummy. Good goal to the Swans, an important one as we head towards half-time.
So just under 3 minutes as we need the repairman in to replace the bench, as Bruce McAvaney just about destroys it. The Swans getting a bit of a mini break as it comes to ground. Troy Cook, one of the few touches he's had today. Knights smothered, deflects back to Rowan Wharf, sweeping out wide. Ruse in turn finds Rowan Wharf. It's an up and under as they contest. It's Ryan Troy Cook, very well done. With plenty of courage, gets it off to Stevens. The pass nailed, and look at that! What a pickup on the half volley. The skipper is on fire. Has a free man running onto the ball. There's Creswell. Will go back and have a set shot. Sydney getting a bit of a break before half time.
Well, what passage of play that was. Two fantastic examples of some of the toughest aspects of our game. The half volley by Paul Kelly and then Troy Cook's mark to set it all up was just was one out of the box. That's one of the more difficult skills in footy, picking it up, running flat out, and then just poised himself and put Creswell into a pretty good spot.
You're just about backing from here. Darren Creswell with a form, although it was a shocker off the boot. Prefers to be kicking them on the run, you'd say, from that effort. They're behind. Just under 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
Thought Kelly might show us all his skills and just finish it off on the left foot. Fantastic to watch.
They're on display today, aren't they?
9-4 plays 7-7. They certainly are. We're lucky enough to be seeing them on 7. Matty Knights chips somewhat dangerously to Prescott. He in turn chips to Turner. Oh, look out, Plugger's closing. Like a semi trying to pass the VW. Out of bounds on the full, so Bowden will have to give it up.
And it's that pressure from Plugger that creates a ball kick. All of a sudden the Swans with just over a minute of play remaining, but another chance to snatch a goal.
Well, Wharf's kick is not a good one, however, and that will just about be out of bounds on the full. It matters not because Harrison has taken the mark. From half back, Ben Harrison looks towards Bowden at the centre wing. Well sport by Wharf. Johnny Stevens does the tidying up to Troy Lump. Century kick is fine. Farrell gets it away. Now here's a chance for Crouch from 55. Lockett and Turner. Lockett at the back. Lovely kick. Delightful kick. And he's got the chance now. Such an important time, the last couple of minutes of the first half, and Sydney are making the most of it.
It was a great kick, wasn't it, from Jared Couch. So say that again. That's Crouch. And Scotty Turner tried to take the running from Tony Lockett. As soon as he did, Lockett put his hand up and said, hoof it over his head. It was a beautiful kick.
This to become the first player on the ground to have 3 next to his name for the day. Shouldn't really be a problem for this man. It isn't a problem for this man. He's kicked his 3rd. Important times for Sydney as they again open up a very handy 15-point lead close to siren time.
I think the biggest thing that has eventuated in this quarter is the Swans are just starting to look a little bit more like the side that we know they are capable of playing. And I think, Bruce, we thought at quarter time they were flat. Right at the moment, I think the Tigers have allowed them to build on their confidence. I think it's genuine confidence this time, not maybe the facade we saw in the first quarter.
Use of the ball by Crouch, and also Luff before him, important there. Just looking up and finding it. O'Farrell's been very good. Tigers need one here, but Sydney going forward again through Creswell, who's having a very big first half. Seymour on the ground. Cook's bump on Rogers was effective. And I don't think we'll forget his mark for a while. That one where he stood under it was like taking a big catch in a test match right on the boundary, wasn't it? And he just stood there and took a beauty. So the Swans have made a move here just before half-time, and it's been pretty effective. I think Richmond will be happy if they can stop them from getting another one very deep into this second quarter. Gasper to Daffy. Daffy's chip ball to half-forward. Bowden and Wharf. Wharf got up very high. Gee, well played to Cook. He belted it away. Crouch has been impressive. Through the centre, runs the full measure. Gives Lockett half a charge. Plugger's gone! No! And the siren sounds. Oh, drama at the end. Right at the end, Plugger and Turner. It was a great effort by Scotty Turner to put the pressure on the big fellow, and he sees a wasted opportunity. Plugger probably could have kicked 6 in the first half, but he's done pretty well. He's got 3, and Jared, this is set up pretty nicely at 64 to 49.
Yeah, great performance by the Swans to rebound. I think they've found a player in Jared Crouch. Just having a look at his disposal and his speed through the middle in that passage of play alone suggests that he's a player of the future. There's a player of the present and the past and the future. Paul Kelly, what a champion he is, and he really has inspired his team.
So half-time here at the SCG, whether it be the past, the present or the future, you'll enjoy it here on 7. Sydney lead by 15 points as we take a break.
Got a win some footy in the middle of the ground and get some goals out of the likes of Knights and Broderick and a couple more from Daffy.
Second half is underway here at the SCG. The home side leading by 15 points. Farrell goes charging at Gale, doesn't win it. Picked up by Bowden for the Tigers. Down towards half forward. Holland was the flyer from behind. Unable to complete the mark. Pushed wide towards Nix. Beautifully sidestepped by Broderick. Gets the hand pass away. This could be a positive start for James in towards goal. Touched and one behind. First goal vital for the Tigers. Down at the moment by 14 points.
Good start, good clearance out of the middle. Aaron James gave himself almost no chance of kicking that goal away. He bent the ball around. But it's in kicking vicinity, and that's where they want it.
Nix to the outer side. Fine grab by Dunkley. One of the trademarks of his game in recent years has been his confident marking. Schwass spears it towards Saddington. He marks still on the half-back flank. Comes wide and out of Rowan Wolf, who's got a little bit of space, a little bit of time perhaps to set something up for his skipper. Used the body nicely, sneaks away from Daffy. Look at Kelly go, the master of the acceleration. But when I was hoping he'd finish it off with a flying goal, he's let me down and put it out of bounds on the full.
Yes, he went heavily to the left, unfortunately, but Nick Daffy's side with relief, and it looks as if those two gentlemen are matched up together. Daffy getting the ball out of that first centre bounce, but just letting Kelly get away from him on that situation. In fact, Daffy may well be going with Creswell, who've just gone shoulder to shoulder.
Stephen Kerry, we saw a moment ago. Turner goes long, Bowden the target. Ball comes to ground. Well done by O'Farrell. And off Schwass, Stevens boundary throw in. 10-4 to 7-8 here, 64 to 50. Swans struggling, 2 wins from their last 7, lost their last 3. Tigers have had some big wins, including Adelaide in Adelaide and North Melbourne last week. But quality teams in the Bulldogs and the Saints have beaten them in the last month when they've been in a winning position. So 10-4, 7-8 here. So a lot to be answered from both clubs in the second half.
Gasper's gone back to his regulation position. He's being picked up by Brad Seymour, and I think that may well even be in a defensive role, which leaves Michael O'Loughlin on Damien Ryan.
So again, a rebound here. Creswell and Prescott just coming across, and the umpire wanting the space to bounce it. Here we go.
Knight's just trying to get onto Swass, and Stevens trying to get on a Knight, so a 2-on-1.
So a little bit of jiggling going on. Creswell back to Cook. Cook slow to get the handball away. That's out on the fall, I think, against Prescott. O'Loughlin to take the mark.
Oh!
And down the ground to Creswell, is it?
Yes, Prescott having a minor collision with him. Not a lot in it, but it's a turnover.
And not a whole lot of advantage either, Sandy, but about 15 or metres. So Creswell can pop it up. Can Lockett get a run at it? He can. Big fly plugger, but no, Farrell in the front has just drifted across. And this young boy is making a name for himself at the Sydney Cricket Ground today. This will be one of the lasting memories from this match, is that we saw this kid for the first time. He looks a goer. It's a good mark.
Well, pretty game. Taking what belonged to Plugger.
What did you do today? Oh, I just out-muscled, out-marked Plugger a couple of times. Kicked a few goals in my debut.
Well, he hasn't missed yet. It hasn't looked like missing. He's given that a hook, though, and it's a behind.
Gerard, you spoke about Gasper. Seymour's now playing the 4 line. That's why Gasper's down there.
Just 1-2, Gerard. 2 chances. Kelly, not easy. That was a hard one. Easy one there, and both misses. So Tigers let off a bit here and would be thinking, well, now our turn. 10-5, 7-8.
So Turner drives the ball long. Fantastic kick, looking for Benny Gale. Farrell contesting the mark again. Comes to ground. Not much off on it. Prescott busting through. Daffy runs onto it. Quick to boot. Looking for the forwards, and Troy Luff in the way. But fantastic handball. An opportunist goal there as Richardson slots through another one for the Tigers.
Well, Bruce, you predicted it. Straight down the middle. It was a pretty good setup from that kick out. They just isolated Brendan Gale, and he got the ball some 20 metres short of the middle of the ground. Daffy, as always, just quick to the boot. And, well, a pretty fair effort there by Aaron James to set up Richardson for that goal. Whenever you have a 2-on-1 situation, inevitably you've got a man free. And they exploited it there, the Tigers.
Matty Richardson having a few words with Andrew Dunkley, saying, I've got 3 at the moment. I might just get a bag. There's a long way to go yet back in the middle, but that's a very handy goal. Just what they wanted. Benny Gale on all fours. Lewis out of the middle tries to give it to the Schwatter. He couldn't take it. Knights was away, but there's been a free kick been picked up by the umpire furthest away from the centre, and it's gone the way of Paul Kelly. Thought about Schwass and is now called to play on. So he goes straight down the middle. Look out, here comes Plugger. Oh, that was great courage shown by Kellaway. Ryan gets the hand pass out the back door to Gaspar. Kellaway was running towards Lockett in that confrontation. Evans is the target on the outer side, but he's outpointed by Wolf. Welcome back, Rowan.
Grown in stature at this club, and he just keeps getting better and better.
Floating old punt kick. Not very pretty, really. And marked by Benny Gale in the back pocket. Gale goes short and finds Daffy, a prolific kick winner in the first half. Picked up 11, now goes down towards Evans. The minder at Punt Road has it. He wants to fire them up. Thinks about Richardson and co, and here he goes with Dunkley. Dunkley, Richardson. Dunkley had a front spot. Next goes the hand pass over the top to Luff. Back to Schwartz. The left footer will like it from this position. Away he comes to Creswell. Darren Creswell's on half back. Will ignore Cook and go probably longer to O'Loughlin. May go even further. Has a look downfield up towards Kelly, who's just passed him. Kelly floats beautifully and takes the mark. Thought about the hand pass to Cook. Wants to go quickly and does. Saddington, a great fly, couldn't quite take the mark. Seymour towards the line, he's hassled over. There'll be a throw-in. Left forward pocket for Sydney. They lead, but their half-time margin has been cut. 65 plays 56.
Just superior judgment there by Paul Kelly. He was only interested in the footy, whereas Matty Rogers was always concerned at where Kelly was.
O'Farrell again, and wins it. Seymour! Away to the right. Doesn't kick a lot of goals in his career, and that one out of bounds on the full.
So the kick in. The Swans, I get the feeling they've had some chances here. 10-5, 8-8. Tigers have gone forward a couple of times. A point to James and then a goal to Richardson from James. Now Lewis tees off to Lockett at full forward. Plugger, good mail, Nilly. Thought he was going to hold it there. Rogers. Oh, trapped beautifully by Kelly. What a steal! Sensational.
Forget Ronnie Biggs. That's the real thing.
Oh, that's really good. 11-5 to 8-8. 3 to Kelly. He's been the difference almost, hasn't he?
Without doubt, I think he has been superb. Matthew Rogers did well to support, but he just telegraphed his handball. It was obvious that he was going to Daffy. So obvious that Paul Kelly was there almost before he released it. And waltzed in for one of the better goals.
So the Swannies finally convert one of their opportunities and back out to a 15-point margin. 15 minutes left in this third quarter. As the rucks go out, it comes to ground. Knight's trying to get the run. Doesn't happen. It eventually comes to Benny Gale. He's looking for Richardson. Has the sit. Comes to ground, though, over the head. And eventually through Dale Lewis, sweating out through Ruse, and Wayne Schwartz starting to get a few touches. He has a bounce, has got O'Farrell short, runs onto the ball, does O'Farrell. It's hard to believe he's a first gamer. He now centres it, goes long, giving Plugger a chance to run onto it, but sweating back and showing plenty of courage was Turner, and he'll be rewarded with the kick.
And the Tigers have got to find themselves a player that can take a mark in the forward line, because the ball's just coming out of there so easily in this third term.
Comes to Holland. Not much on offer there. All Sydney Swans as Orchard runs onto it. Nix puts the good Shepherd on. Comes back to Saddington. Another inspirational youngster. Wobbly off the boot. Knights comes in to intercept. Down the ground though. And through Stevens. And again Schwartz with another touch. Heavy work done by Cook off the ball. And looking for Rowan Wharf. And sweating back there Gaspar. In fact, that was Seymour from Sydney Swans. But Gaspar rock solid in defence.
It was actually a very good play, Neil, by Swass, trying to find a Sydney teammate, because there was absolutely nobody in offer, and he did the best he could.
Knight's got a bad bounce. Sorry, Neil. Knight's got a very bad bounce, so the door will open once again for Harrison. He was unable to take it. Nix floating past, though, penetrating hand pass to O'Farrell on towards Johnny Stevens. In trouble now. Nix has got to go in to assist. Almost threw it out there. The umpire said no, he didn't. Cook Looks for Lewis. Look out because Evans is there as well. Rogers gets a high kick back towards the middle. Saddington the meat in the sandwich. Roos and Bowden waiting down. Roos almost tripping over himself. Eventually decides to lock it up, and there'll be a ball up on centre wing.
Geez, that was an important ball there. Roos was away, and Bowden just got his fingers in on the footy to block it up. But the Swans appear to have just that extra player around most contests at the present time.
15 points the margin. Sydney leads. 71 plays 56.
Seymour on for Barry. Barry on for Seymour.
Think about it. Lewis on to Creswell. Down towards left half forward. Kelly, Roos. Now with Roos alone. Right on his hammer was Kellaway and hustled over the line. Well, what a round. Round 13 has turned out to be.
Swass and Knights are now 1-on-1, and Swass has dragged Matthew Knights well and truly into their forward goal square.
Kellaway to Daffy towards Michael Gale. Nix, well done. Another throw in on centre wing.
Good player, Nix. Good move also, I think, by Rodney Eade. Having Swass in the goal square, he's actually even pushed Tony Lockett out, because he would have, without doubt, a pace advantage on Knights if the potential for a lead comes up.
Holland trying to pluck it out of the air. Has assistance from Evans. He chips up towards Harrison, and then maybe down the ground. In fact, it is. It'll go towards Ben Harrison, who's almost down to right half forward.
And this is where the Tigers have got to get some support at the fall of the ball.
He's going to drop short, and Roos pops into that hole and takes the mark at halfback.
Uses Crouch, who had a very good second term, runs away and then kicks high and wide. Rogers underneath it, taking the mark for the Tigers, about 80 metres from goal. So Richmond 71 to 56 here, trailing, but very much in this. Broderick's short if he wants him. He's going to kick it long. Now Richardson, a target. He's going to come in high. At the back was Roos. Orchard there with Powell. Orchard's been good today, and he uses the line, a boundary throw in. One-dimensional at the moment, Richmond. They've got to mix it up a bit, find something when they go forward, break a line or two, maybe get one of their midfielders to crash a line like Kelly or Creswell have been able to do. Fans everywhere here, in all shapes and sizes, and they're having a good day. Creswell, Nix has been excellent. Holds it up. Luff. Hemble wasn't great, but Luff should go back to Nix. They're using each other a lot better. Nix will kick it to Wharf at centre wing as a perfectly timed kick. Wharf can turn Bowden inside out and then attack the centre half forward. Too far for Kelly. Barry was held up. Probably should have got a free kick. That's Cook's trademark. Crashing through. Wharf held up. Couldn't get the handball away. Well done, Tigers. Prescott quickly onto the boot. Creswell sits, waits, uses Lewis. Some good footy here. Back to Nix. Now this is the important kick. Swass is on his own at centre half forward. Pops it up. Lockett. 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 Push against Lockett. Well, I don't know. Interesting. It's a part of the game that you love, that you can use your body. Plugger doesn't like it. Let's have a look.
It seemed to be always half a step behind, didn't it?
I don't know. Anyway, I'm not an umpire. The kick by Evans, the centre wing.
As we come back, Troy Cook running onto the footy. Ryan trying to give him attention. Sets for Evans in the front position. Too tall for Wayne Schwass, and Richmond will settle as Matthew Knights looks for the feed, but he inboard and centering kick, which was Kellaway, back to Knights, and running through is Gasper. Has a bounce when really he was under the pump and has been pinged for holding the ball, and the free kick to be taken by Leo Barry. Moves it very, very quickly. As we see there, he really wasn't in a position for that play. Dale Lewis, a lot of attention. Off to Kelly, assesses the options. Troy Cook or Wayne Schwass. It's a nest of Tigers, if that makes sense. And Kellaway will once again try and settle them down, bring it back out of defence. Evans running through is Knights, takes the handball, wants the 1-2. It's on, pumps it long. And now Harrison has the ball and the all-important kick into the forward line. And pinpoint accuracy finds James right half forward for the Tigers.
But they are outnumbered probably 6-3 down there in the forward line, the Tigers. So if the ball hits the ground, it's easy meat for the Swans. This one will cross the goal line, one suspects.
Aaron James was impressive late against North Melbourne last week when given the opportunity. and he's hooked that centering kick. 1 against 5 in favour of Sydney. Running onto it is Richardson. Kept his feet very, very well for a big man, but he's under pressure. Tackled and pinned for holding the ball. Not much he could do about that as Sydney run it out of defence. And finding Dunkley down the corridors. Got to go quickly, under pressure. Running through and taking a very clever mark as Johnny Stevens has to play on. Schwartz out to O'Loughlin, who's been quiet. A handy touch would be good here. He's under pressure, but that magic, very elusive, goes on to Barry. Back to Stevens. There's a goal, Sydney.
Shades of the old Sydney.
Well, it came from nowhere, didn't it? Tigers in defence. They've just got to find a better option down there because Matthew Richardson isn't going to be able to beat 4 or 5 players. It was a good turnaround by the Swans, who took it down the middle. Poor tackling there by Tigers. There's no excuse for that. Maybe the ground's a bit soft, so they couldn't change direction, but it certainly didn't affect Michael O'Loughlin. Brilliant setup.
The danger signs up for the Tigers. This is the biggest margin we've had in this game to date. 77 plays, 56 out to a 21-point break. The Sydney chart goes up as Kelly gets it to O'Farrell. A short little kick, but straight to Evans. The Miner gives it away. Kellaway gives it to Knights, and the skipper looks towards half forward. They desperately want the next one. Powell was doing the lurking. Tawney's doing the hard work, but he's claimed at half forward, and it'll be a bounce.
And just once again, Sandy, when the Tigers get the ball to that half-forward line, the players that are being bypassed aren't hitting the base of the pack hard enough. They're just all sitting back, waiting to form a wall. Well, the wall is being bypassed so easily now by the Swans. They've got to get some players at the fall of the loose ball. Tigers.
Ruse and Lewis both doing ruck work. The crouch kick was smothered. Maybe an opportunity now for the Tigers. Daffy working hard on all fours. Jason Tawney still there, so too Michael Gale. A good defence by Rowan Wharf and Jared Crouch. So no addition. 12-5 Sydney. The Tigers are 8-8. 21-point ball game at the moment. Ruse and Holland and Lewis. Holland gives it away to Daffy. Loves the goals, does Nick Daffy. And there's going to be a free kick for holding on right in the square to Richardson, and it should be a goal to the Tigers.
A brave call from umpire Goldspink as Andrew Dunkley on his ruck cannot believe it. Neither can that woman what she's just seen.
So a free kick to Richo in the square. And the opportunity for his fourth, and to close it down to a 15-point ball game. He makes no mistake. The Tigers hang on. 4 goals to Matty Richardson, 2 in this turn.
Came from nowhere, that one, didn't it? Young Tiger fan, very happy with that. Nick Daffy, once again, his trademark slammed onto the boot. Didn't go across the line, but the umpire pinged Andrew Dunkley there, and, well, maybe Bruce, you'll be able to explain what it was for later on in the evening.
So for the 5th consecutive week, Matthew Richardson has kicked 4 goals in a match, and he can improve on that. It's been a pretty good return from him. 4 goals, 3 today at 12-5-9-8. Very handy goal from the Tigers. They've sort of got a couple out of nowhere in this quarter to hang in, haven't they? Whereas Sydney, a lot of theirs have been emotional and good build-ups, but the scoreboard tells the tale that the Tigers have still got a chance here. To half-forward Barry. Evans has been handy across half-back pocket in this turn. Did very well to Daffy. Daffy belts it on the boot. Holland front spot. Ruse at the back. Well done by Bowden to come across. Wharf, I think, has been magnificent in this quarter particularly. Tries to scoop it out, and it'll be a bounce at about 30 metres from the Tigers' goal.
It was a great defensive effort there by Evans, who steamrolled through a pack. Looked like he was going to be blocked by 3 Swans players, but he came through and got the ball away.
So the Tigers now with a sniff. It's been a match, particularly in the first half, where both teams have had periods of domination. Knights trying to get an angle on this. Clever kick. Oh, James had to stay on his feet if he couldn't mark it. Luff pushes it to Orchard, who's very quick. Power to go with him. Was he off Orchard? No. He's got Creswell inside. A little kick now to Creswell. Creswell can be away here and really penetrate. Kelly's at centre half forward. Creswell, lazy old kick, but he just sets it up for Kelly. Belted away. Daffy, who's had a lot of the footy, out wide to Ryan. Well done by Lachlan to get him. Harrison under pressure. This is important though. He's got it down to Tawney. Tawney goes. No, doesn't go. The umpire says. Thought about going, I think, and decided not to.
Very similar to the Mark Orchard one on the other wing just 30 seconds ago.
Richardson wants it in the goal square. Now he wants it in the pocket. He kicks it to Richardson, outnumbered at the back. Ruse, Dunkley, Richardson out of play. 12-5-9-8 here, 77 to 62.
There's got to be some spare Tiger players around because Richardson had dragged 3 players, including Ruse, to drop back into his space. Maybe they've got to use Richo as a dummy almost to allow a couple of others to go free.
So Sydney try and work it out of defence. They eventually do. So that man is on fire. Rowan Wharf under the pump from Michael Gale as the ball comes back through the centre. Too hot for Schwartz to handle. Kelly and Prescott, plenty of attention there. And holding the ball is the decision. And the crowd starting to get involved as Richmond try and bridge the gap once again. They go long. James is the target. It falls short. Luff can't handle it. Nix is there to give assistance. Paul Ruse wants it. Eventually comes out and Luff works it out of defence. And dangerous.
Kick downfield.
But Mark Orchard will get the free kick.
He's got Lewis across the member side of the ground.
And he comes with that option. And Dale Lewis has O'Farrell short but goes long, and a perfect kick to Andrew Dunkley. Dunkley goes in short looking and finds Stephen Carey, plays on, crouches there with Luff to lend assistance. The short pass is on, and Lachlan getting a few touches, normally would have held that, goes to ground. Richmond mop up, pumped long but only far as Troy Luff. And now it's the Richmond defence that is starting to show signs of breaking under the pressure.
His kick goes to half forward. Gasper should be able to tidy up and does so. Kellaway looks towards centre wing. Important minutes now, especially for the Tigers, as Richardson can't keep it in play. 77 Sydney, 62 Richmond. .21 points has been the biggest lead we've seen in this game, and the fans, they've got to know this game up here over the years and they love it. And they love having a chat to the man in white as Michael Gale finds Benny Harrison. Harrison kicks it high. Nick sets himself and marks strongly. Schwatter breaks away. Wayne Schwartz to the outer side. Does he want to come back inside onto his left foot? He's got Orchard short in the middle and uses the little man. It's going to be all right. They pounce on him, and now Michael Gale very quick to answer the question. Tawney gets it across to Powell. Powell loves to kick a long goal. It's away to the left, however, and through for one behind.
Long goals are fine. Long points are really frustrating for all concerned, and with Matthew Richardson 30 metres alone in the goal square and Powell not under a lot of pressure, that had to be a better kick.
14 points the margin.
Probably a goal, 2-goal breeze favouring the end of which the Tigers are kicking at the moment.
Wharf making a very successful comeback after that 3-week layoff with the shoulder injury. Kellaway marks well. The Tigers can set it up for Nick Daffy here. He's still a long way from home. He's got Richardson alone in the square. That's who he heads for. Richardson and Dunkley. Sails over the top, and another behind is registered.
Getting into a wrestling duel with Andrew Dunkley doesn't often pay dividends. He's such a strong player that Matthew Richardson's far better off just holding back and trying to beat him with his pace and his spring.
Big couple of minutes, isn't it? They led by 15, the Swans, at half-time. That lead has been reduced. Even though for much of this quarter we felt the Swans were on top. Now the Tigers turn. They've got to convert. Nix keeps it low and gets it outside 50. Target Dunkley. They're using him as a designated marker, basically, as over Kelly. Powell, back turn. Clever. That's good play. To Prescott. Now Cook and Daffy at the back. Important ball here. Bowden tries to get a handball away. Daffy's quick hands. Knights rode the tackle pretty well. Gets it back. Little kick by Tawney to centre half forward. Harris has got it. Can kick a goal.
Interesting kick, that one. Not sure it was designated for Ben Harrison. It may well have been one of the best kicks off the side of the boot that we've seen for a while. Aaron James has come off the ground, and I think it was Johnny Rombotis who's replaced him. So he's gone with a small.
Tawney's been all right in this quarter. He would have had 5 kicks, 6 kicks. Push forward. Now this is a huge kick for Harrison. This to really tighten this match right up. 45 metres out. Not much of an angle. He's been very careful with it and he's missed it. Just probably tried to guide it through a bit, didn't he, in the end? So the Tigers with 3 consecutive points. First scoring shot today for Harrison. They close it a bit, but it's a 2-goal ball game at the moment. 12-5 to 9-11.
So just over 2 minutes left in this third term. Dale Lewis to bring it back in for Sydney. He's been called out far and wide, and that's where he goes as a pack sets, maybe getting a nudge out as the ball eventually comes through to Wayne Schwartz, who's been more productive in this quarter. Matthew Knights and John Stevens go at it. Plenty of attention there for both. Kellaway coming through hard and crashing through. Looked like Rowan Wharf eventually comes through. Prescott takes a kick but intercepted by probably pretty close to the Swans' best player today, Matthew Nix, onto Schwartz. In turn has gone short and found Johnny Stevens. And trying to hang on to this 2-goal lead, edging down towards the end of the third quarter. As now he finds someone, goes long, looking for Cresswell. That doesn't happen. Bursting through the pack is Stewie Maxfield. Haven't seen much of him today. Handballs astray, but Troy Luff has time to regather. Roos is calling for it. Doesn't go there, though. Here's the man who has it on a string, Matthew Nix, sprinting, looking for Plugger. Over his head, though, and mopping up defence is Evans from Richmond.
It's a goal either way is going to be significant.
Oh, yes, we've got just over a minute remaining as Evans goes to the outer side.
Big mark.
Yeah, for Matthew Knights. Came to ground, he had to beat a couple, so it was a big effort by the skipper. But we know that's what he can do. Harrison gives him a lead. Still in the middle. He doesn't know that there's under a minute remaining. That lob one here on the sire on the Tigers. Richardson, one grab, couldn't complete it. Plays on, goes on to the left foot. A floating punt, but it's wide and very, very wide. Respite for Sydney and Troy Luff with under a minute remaining. Schwartz, the flyer, Carey at the back, and the ball went over the line, so it'll come back for a throw-in on the left half forward flank for Richmond. Gale and McKee swapping over.
The Tigers have just attacked and attacked and attacked in this last 10 minutes. And at the end of the day, maybe their inability to prevail with a goal is going to cost them the match.
Half a minute to do something about it. Carey from the back. Here's an opportunity for Bowden. Dunkley is clean bowled. Luff chances his arm with a swooping hand pass to Roos. Another one to Wayne Schwartz. Lobbing across half back. He bounces his way down towards the middle. Down towards the safety zone. And Kelly. Now 14 seconds and counting down. Has he got time? The skipper. Cook's got to make ground if he's going to get anywhere near that ball, and he can't. Evans chops it off. Goes towards half back. Daffy. Prescott are both there. Daffy runs into Stewie Maxfield. There it is. No addition to the score at three-quarter time. So they battled away. But it didn't really show on the board, the Tigers. They added a couple. In fact, 2 goals 4. And Sydney, on the other hand, added 2 goals 1. A tight term. Jeff Geeshan's got his players in there and he's quick to say something.
They're going to be thinking about Adelaide 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. They were in a similar boat, Richmond. Foreign territory, tough position behind at three-quarter time, and were able to come over the top and win.
Well, can they do it here at the SCG? Stay with us on 7. It's all coming your way on footy's home ground. 2 kicks the difference, favouring the Sydney Swans.
Paul Kelly and Tony Lockett, who have both started down in the goal square.
Well, let's join Darren Goldspink for the opening bounce of this final quarter. Sydney looking to stop a 3-game losing streak. Richmond on a roll and hoping to continue it. O'Farrell's had a good day. Crouch out of the middle is effective for Sydney. Down towards the forward line. Kelly couldn't take it, but he's usually very quick to recover. This time it's Michael Gale who gets the hand pass away. Kellaway gives another one to Rogers. He's out of the danger zone for the moment, converting it up towards the centre wing, and the mark is taken by Bowden. If the Tigers can get the first, look out. Up towards half forward, Luff stands strong and firm. Gives it away to Paul Roos. Roos off to Creswell. Wayne Schwass must have an odour problem. He's alone on the outer side. He's got hectares. He loves this situation. 2 bounces. Could have had more. Goes in towards O'Loughlin in the pocket. But an effective spoil sees it over the line. And a throw in on that outer side.
Great spoil in the finish. O'Loughlin with pace looked to be in the right position. But a magnificent spoil coming over the top.
Richmond in their attacking zone. Benny Gale up against the less experienced O'Farrell. Rogers got the call out the back from his skipper. That's okay. Broderick gets another one away. Up towards the centre of the ground. Luff tops it off. Troy Luff. Can't see Nix on this side, so goes long and direct. Goes towards Lockett and Turner. Oh, Lockett dropped perhaps what he should have taken. Can't shrug the Turner tackle, but he snaps towards goal and wobbles it right across the face. Maybe an opportunity going there for the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, it's one that you'd expect Big Tony to take. But once again, it's those kicks into the Richmond forward line that are almost like kicks, then turning around and kicking it into the Swans forward line. If they don't mark the ball, the Swans have got Schwass as the release player on the wing, and they're just utilising him to quickly get their ball back into the forward line.
Kelly's a little quick out of bounds. 12-5, 9-11. Tight and tense here. O'Farrell, big leap. Knights has played well. Not huge possessions in terms of stats, but very effective to centre wing. Nick's had a terrific game. Well done, Saddington. It's a good handball by Nick. Saddington with the bounce. Then delivers to the pocket. Stevens, lovely. Mark, normally good on the run. Hooking, goal. The one they needed. A big play. 2 to Stevens. In fact, both his goals have been memorable, haven't they? But Nix's little gift to Saddington, and then Stevens, who is a better shot for goal on the run. And that now is a little cushion, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's going to be tough to beat. The Tigers thought that ball was touched, but, well, difficult to glean any information from that shot. But scoreboard says it was straight through the middle.
So John Stevens kicked his second goal, lifting the Swans to a pretty handy break now. And O'Farrell doing well, going up against Gale, but it was Gale who gets the ball down. Richmond looking to move forward once again through Knights. Running onto it, trying to, was Gasper. Eventually comes through and they find Michael Gale assessing his options, and that is to handball to Bowden. And Bowden from the left has put through across the face behind, but very, very close for the Tigers.
And here's Matthew Knights just copping one after he gets rid of that football. Nice little bump there from Stewie Maxfield. But it's Joel Bowden is about the only person that looks likely to kick a goal down there for the Tigers. They've just got to find themselves a couple of other goal kickers if they're there to get back into this game.
So Dale Lewis pumps it back. Superb kick off the boot. Running onto it, 2 Swans players, Creswell and Schwass, but eventually coming through, and Daffy finds his hands on the footy. Breaking free is Broderick, who finds Rogers. Rogers pumps it long, but it's a gaggle of geese, if you like, as they work it back out of defence. Rowan Wharf has a bounce, has Nixon Stevens short, defines the handball to Luff, though. Not probably the best option. And Creswell finds his way moving up the ground. Lewis, that's dangerous. And lucky not to be pinged there. Knights might have got one high. He did. Play on as the call, advantage played, and Tawney is coming back.
And Peter Philandia has come onto the ground. John Stevens has been benched.
Matty Knights from the middle of the SCG.
Great kick.
Perfect kick. And mark not paid to Holland. Play on, so Troy Luff does by soccering it out towards Saddington. He's feeling the heat, so he gets the hand pass to Orchard. Back to Luff again from half back. He looks down towards O'Farrell. With him is Benny Gale. Now Gale did give him a shove, but the ball sails over the line.
Let's have a look at this disallowed mark to Ben Holland. Ball in the hands.
Just a mark.
That is a shocking decision. But I think on that occasion, Richardson was used as the dummy, and Ben Holland straight up the middle. We'll look for that one later in the quarter.
Gale won it. Creswell, however, takes it away. They're going to have to be quick. Wharf towards Nix. Has played well. Look out behind you, Matthew. He does. And he just spears a little pass to Philandia. Down towards full forward. Lockett and O'Loughlin turn it to the boundary line in subtle fashion. And we'll have a throw in Sydney's left forward pocket. Scoring not easy in this final term. Tight and hard, as we would expect. Gale. O'Farrell will remember this day for a long time. Came onto the ground for his first game. Kicked a goal with his first kick.
And Tawney's come off the ground, and Bullis has gone on for the Tigers, and Leo Barry has re-emerged from the bench for the Swans, and Dale Lewis has been benched.
This time O'Farrell is beaten. Now where's Lockett? Coming steaming out. Barry won't be too far away. Barry goes to ground. Turner leads Lockett. Tries to sock it off the ground, but it slews to the side. Philandia is a determined little terrier. Gets it out to Barry. Barry backpedals to Nix. Matthew Nix from a standing start. Pumps it high. Difficult one to mark. 5 or 6 of them up. No one down. Cook gives it away. O'Farrell had it, but then lost it. Barry says, I'll take them on. He tried to. Thrown out almost by Kelly. Cook, the left foot snap is high. Another one of the Sydney excitement machines, but off target. 83 plays 66 as Dale Lewis receives some attention on the sidelines.
And Paul Bullis is obviously going to centre half forward. A better matchup against Troy Luff there.
So Turner to bring it in, short. 13, 6, 9, 12. Howe turns his man the other way and then delivers wide. Gasper and Harrison the targets, but they're a long way from home in terms of scoring. Swans going forward, and right now Sydney in the box seat. It's been a while since they've won. They've lost to St Kilda, Essendon and Carlton. Their record at the Sydney Cricket Ground this year, 4 wins, 2 losses from 6 matches, and this seen as an absolute key match to both clubs this season, particularly Sydney. Good hands, got it to Orchard. From Crouch, Orchard to Lockett, got it. Big Plug has been promising to take one. He's just probably spent the ball a couple of times in the last half before really getting hold of it. And this to kick his 4th. He's had a few shots for goal today. He's kicked 3-1 and missed a couple completely. Strong mark, able to body and push away from Turner, and really should kick the goal. And this then would make it very hard for Richmond. Lockett to give Sydney the big lead of the match. From 25 metres out, he's kicked his 4th. It's a handy return. Steady performance by the champ. 90 to 66. And, well, still a fair bit of footy to be played yet, but it's a good lead now.
Yes, but if you had your money on the Swans, you'd be pretty pleased at the present time, wouldn't you? And this was an excellent kick by Orchard. He got Tony Lockett into a one-on-one position, and Scotty Turner was always in trouble when he allowed Lockett to use his strength.
So a 4-goal break to the Swans as we're still waiting for the ball to come out to the centre. And a big ask for Richmond from here. Pretty telling, wasn't it, that turnover, the free kick not paid to Holland. That's a 2-goal turnaround. It'd be a different ball game at this stage. Unlucky there for Richmond, but the score is on the board as Gale and O'Farrell do business. Neither really favoured. Creswell, as so often, brings it out of the centre, goes to ground, but Richmond are better to recover. Broderick, a hot handball. Rogers throws it onto the boot, coming through Luff. trying to mop up is Wharf. Bullis back on the ground. Bowden waiting. In hustling is Cresswell, and all tied up just ahead of left centre wing for Sydney.
I'll tell you what, Brooksy, the point you make about the mark to Ben Holland is one I'm sure that a lot of Tiger supporters will want explaining later on during the week. But Troy Luff has just been a superb player for the Swans since going into defence. He has turned around the Tigers time and time again, almost to the point where it's been up to Jeff Geeshan to really match him up. And you can see there Paul Bullis on Troy Luff. He'd be there just as much in a negative role as he would be as an attacking one. He's trying to drag Luff away from the play right now.
So it's crunch time for Richmond. They really do need to make inroads now, but it's scrambling towards left half forward for the Sydney Swans, running off the boot of Maxfield. And coming through hard is Ryan. It's shuffled back into the forward pocket. They are swarming Sydney. O'Loughlin, Kelly. Anything can happen when Paul Kelly gets a sniff. He's taken by Prescott. They want holding the ball. Evans looks to be in a bit of pain and under a lot of pressure. Sydney have got the bit between the teeth. Hard to see them going down from here.
Evans just asking the question. He's a real goer. A minder at Punt Road, but they need more than that at the moment. 14-6 plays 9-12. 24 points in it. 4 straight kicks, and Cook almost tries to make it 5. Evans is claimed. Again, the cry of ball as it breaks free and drifts over the line.
Is that Saw, Sandy?
A real terrier is Mr. Philandia. Gale doing the work from the back. Broderick almost gave away a free kick. Did appear to be some holding there. Nick stood his ground. He's had a very good game. Back to Wayne Schwass. Short little one is going to be okay. Orchard a wormburn at a half forward. Finds his mark. Philandia will also go short unselfishly. Creswell run into goal. Finish it off. Say goodnight to the folks. Gracie. And they do. Creswell gets his third. And Sydney look to have stopped the rock.
Yes, it's fair to say they're home from here. And it's been a fantastic turnaround by the Swans coming into this match. Not a lot of confidence around the place. You wouldn't have thought. They've worked obviously very hard and diligently during the week. But I'm sure they've done that the last couple of weeks and it hasn't paid dividends. But here at home, they've turned it all around.
31 posies to Creswell and 3 goals. So they've got 6 goals out of Kelly and Creswell. They got 8 out of them in that match at the Melbourne Cricket Ground a couple of weeks ago when they were badly beaten. But today this is a good effort. And they're looking as if they're on their way back up the table as Cook goes towards half forward. Ryan at the back. Can Richmond steady up here and get a couple of goals and put some late scoreboard pressure on? It is doubtful for the moment. Ryan to the boundary line and a boundary throw in. 15-6 to 9-12. Tigers led by 7 points at quarter time. Swans by 15 at half. Big second quarter and they kicked 7 goals to 3, and then by 12 points at 3/4 time. So the right of screen has been the scoring end. There's no question about that.
I'm sure that Malcolm Blight will be having a close look at this one this afternoon, with Adelaide making the journey next week, Bruce.
Yeah, that's going to be one of a whole group of important matches next weekend. Geelong go to Adelaide to play Port. North play Essendon on the Friday night, and the Saints will play the Bulldogs for top spot. It's a huge round. There's the kick by Daffy into the centre. Bullis with him. Roos goes to ground. Nix, who's been fantastic today, just worries Bullis out of it. Bullis over the top again. He'll want to try and get it out, or else the Swans will claim him, and it's going to be ball up. Just trying to work out how many goals to the right of screen. There was 11 of the 17 to half time. 13, 3, 16 out of the 24 goals have been to the right of screen. So it probably has been worth a couple, hasn't it, throughout the day. And Sydney using it pretty well in that second term, and again now in this last. Power onto the left. Richardson who's kicked 4 at the back. Good fly. That's a good mark. Darryl White-like almost, wasn't the way he was able to get over the top of Dunkley and take a big grab. Now, I talked funnily about Mike Sheehan earlier, and one of the things I think Mike scratches his head about is what value is Richardson to Richmond. He knows that he's a great player. when I say what value, he's certainly worth a lot. But today, he's about to kick his 5th. And at the end of the day, there would be a question mark as to whether he's had a big impact on the match. Goes for it, kicks it. Think about it, Jared, and let me know. That's what we talk about a bit. I mean, Ricky's kicked 5.
No wonder it takes you 55 minutes.
It's hard, though, isn't it? I mean, he's kicked 5 goals, and in a way, he's been a bits player, hasn't he, today?
Well, I think that's the role of a full forward. I mean, would you say that Tony Lockett's been a big bits player?
Well, the expectation's too great.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Richardson and I see that he's battled against 4 or 5 players
he's done a
most
good
of the
job.
afternoon.
So Richmond, as you'd expect, refusing to lie down. Back to a 4-goal margin. As Michael O'Loughlin, a quiet day by his standards, getting a little bit of attention now on that calf muscle, as Gale and O'Farrell, what a find he's been today for Sydney. Daffy runs onto the ball. The left foot is taken by Rowan Wharf. Hung a little long in the air for Bowden. And really is an integral part of that Sydney defence is Wharf. And he's got pace to burn as Mark Orchard goes straight down the ground looking for Paul Kelly, sweating back. And the mark taken, and some attention given to Prescott, but he gets back on his feet as we see him taken to ground there, and Rogers takes a mark just about in the centre of the ground, and running onto it is Matthew Knights. He's been very busy today, plenty of touches. He's going to take on Creswell. Not many options though. Comes back to Daffy. Daffy scrubber kick off the ground, but it does somehow find Bullis, and now it's one out. Dunkley and Richardson. The ball comes to ground. Roundhouse left by Dunkley. Eventually run out and over the boundary line. Right half forward for Richmond.
Well, it did look as if Matthew Richardson in the finish was impeded. Let's just have a look to see if there's any holding. I think they've had a tough time, but the Tigers.
4 kicks in it. Daffy wobbles one. If they can get one here, this crowd will come along. They're going to. Bowden's 25 metres out, can kick a goal. Don't write them off yet. Bowden gets his 3rd, and all of a sudden Richmond say, hey, we're still here. 11-12 plays 15-6.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, only 18 points to margin here. You can kick 3 in any ground. You can kick 3 in 5 minutes. Daffy once again getting that ball forward. Smart play, wasn't it, by Bullis? And an excellent finisher is Joel Bowden. But they've got to get some ball out of the centre and get some run off that half back line, which has just gone missing in this last quarter and a half.
Time is not a problem here at the SCG. Under 9 minutes remaining. 3 kicks in it.
Big takeaway from the bench.
I was just going to say, the break from this one is huge. Gale forced to prop just a little. A bit of aerial ping-pong going on as Cook tries to steal it. But Mr. O'Farrell is going to be asked to do it again against Benny Gale. Still in the middle.
I think Brendan Gale's got to work on tapping the ball to his right-hand side. He's almost predictable in the fact that he'll knock the ball left across his body.
An indecisive tap, Rogers, but there's been a whistle. It'll come back, and it's going to go to the Tigers. So a crucial charge now for Richmond through Rombotis. Wide to the outer side, needs a mark and has got it. Suddenly it's the Tigers finishing full of running. Rogers takes the hand pass. Where's Richardson? Rogers kicked the full forward. Richardson's the flyer from the back. Trying in front was Broderick. Goes to ground, loses it. And it'll be a bounce 25 metres out from the Richmond scoring zone. Bowden for a moment in the hands of the trainers behind play, but he seems to be okay.
Goal here to the Tigers would really make this an interesting result.
25 metres out from their scoring zone. Pushed away towards Troy Cook. Likes to take them on. Does so and loses it to Broderick. Could have almost been a free kick for being held. Pushed wide towards centre wing. Gasper lopes after it. Won't keep it in play. And there'll be a throw in on centre wing. Leo Barry just making sure that the Tiger man is the last one to get up. And then Barry leaves the ground for O'Loughlin.
So still plenty of time here. Richmond hanging in, 18 points behind. Wharf Caught up by Rombotis. Back to Orchard. Liked his game again today. 1, 2 bounces. He's kicking the ball a bit better with length. Gives it Lockett half a chance here. Big plug at the back. Kelly to finish it. Kelly with him is Prescott. Kelly's done it. World Cup stuff. Ronaldo.
I don't think he's as good as Kelly.
That's a big shot. Kelly.
Oh, so, well, I don't think Ronaldo's payback. 16, 6 to 11, 12, but, oh, big player, Kelly, isn't he? Look, we said earlier, 4 goals. I mean, there's been a mighty lot of good players out there today, but at the end of the day, like Matera was Friday night, Kelly has been today. The big difference in the match.
So a captain's goal, a la Ronaldo, from Bruce McAvaney, and O'Farrell's been fantastic. I mean, taken on the ruck work, instrumental in setting up a couple, kicked a couple himself, and you would have thought hard to replace Greg Stafford before today, but he's done the best he can, and I'm sure watching from the grandstands, Greg Stafford will be very impressed with his younger charge. Comes to ground, Troy Cook doing some hard work, getting pretty gluggy in the middle of the SCG down there. Rombotis squeezed the handball out. Lewis back on the ground. Eventually comes to Michael Gale. Long handball, important possession this one. Kellaway maybe pushed off it. No free kick given. Hustling in there was Orchard and Sydney. Eventually through Lucuria, but running onto it is Paolo O'Loughlin. Prescott has the ball. Michael Gale has been busy for Richmond, as has this man. And Prescott goes long, looking for Bowden in amongst a couple of Sydney players, but eventually coming to ground, and the umpire will ball it up. Right
to the back.
Free kick.
Yep. We go to Ben Harrison, and well, he was pretty lucky to get that kick in the finish because he was ignored by his teammate. Should have gone to him in the first place. It was pretty dumb footy in the finish, but fortunate enough to get one from the umpire, and fair to say that they've been due a couple down at this end of the ground, the Tigers.
I don't think anyone would deny them that.
Had a good year, Ben Harrison. An important kick like a few others he's had this year.
So still plenty of time on the clock. Lines up, left foot, right pocket, suits him. Crowd pretty quiet, hits the post, and just a behind for the Tigers.
Well, a couple of important shots indicate he's got a bit of work to do on his goal kicking. He missed one in the third quarter that should have gone through, which would have dragged them to about 5 points behind in arrears at three-quarter time. And that one just was an absolute must.
Now 23 points. Troy Love, big day today for him. He's done really well. Orchard has done extremely well. Creswell's picked up plenty of possessions. Here's Schwartz giving it away to Cook as they belt it through the centre, setting it up from the last line of defence. Crouch goes short. That's okay. O'Farrell takes the mark. He's outside 50. Wants to get on with the job. Lopes back and then goes bang in towards full forward. Lockett's got to beat a couple now. There was a bit of pushing and shoving going on there, and it'll go against Tony Lockett. Gale defends on the last line to the outer side. Well, he thought Bullis was clear, but he's not. He's under plenty of pressure. Successfully gets it out to Prescott. There's a Sydney player down behind. We'll keep an eye on him. Prescott bounces his way somewhat tentatively towards centre wing. Gets the hand pass clear. Broderick in towards Michael Gale. He takes the mark. 70 metres out. Michael Gale, a long bomb. Richo! The big fly. Couldn't take it. Perhaps that was their last gasp as it's taken over the line. And there'll be another throw-in.
So Farrell, a kid who's been very good.
Let's hope he's okay, because he's had certainly a memorable debut. He's up on his feet. That's good news. And in the meantime, play goes on. Roos unable to take it cleanly. Bowden pushing towards Luff in the thick of it. Troy Luff round the body, trying to make a little bit of space. Does so, brings it back, but only as far as Rogers. Sensing the urgency of it all now, I think they're going to hold up play because O'Farrell's gone down again.
It did look as if he was knocked in the head.
Yep, holding his head.
Obviously seen stars for a couple of seconds. And
Bit of a headache tonight, a couple of Panadol and be off to work tomorrow.
Well, one thing is for sure, he's been knocked heavily, but he's going to get a lot worse as we see a long and perhaps distinguished after what we've seen today career unfolds.
My word. So a slight hold up here, as was the case last night with the boy from Port taking no quick measures and making sure they take full precaution when a player like this is injured.
He's done well. 9 kicks, 6 marks, 3 hand passes, and the player I was thinking, of course, was Danny Morton last night. But yeah, and a couple of goals to boot too, Bruce. It's been a good day.
Pretty much had every emotion today, Jared, hasn't he, Farrell? I mean, you know, first kick a goal, setting up in the ruck, being carried off the ground.
And the fear factor. He marked one in front of Plugger, so he knows there's going to be retribution during the week. He's also had 10 hit-outs, and it's fair to say that I think most people made the decision that picked Richmond based on the fact that Greg Stafford was out of the game. So without that kid's input today, maybe the result would be entirely different on the scoreboard.
We just hope he remembers it.
Well,
I'm sure he'll do that.
Dipper's down there, and I'm sure he'll bring us up to date with the latest news on O'Farrell. But well played to this young man, and good luck for what should be a very fruitful career. In the meantime, players calling on. Rogers is 65 out. Long bomb, bending it back. They need a big flyer there. Not in red and white like the veteran Paul Roos, but the gold and black. It didn't happen. Away it comes to Troy Luff. They're out of trouble.
Kicks it long to centre wing. Maxfield outnumbered here. Tap over the back by Kellaway, but Schwass onto it and quickly onto the boot. Again, O'Loughlin outnumbered, goes to ground. Evans coming in. O'Loughlin trying to get it out towards Maxfield. Evans, O'Loughlin, disputed ball. Umpire lets it go on, and it'll be a bounce about 70 metres from Sydney's goal. So they're back on the winners list, the Swans, and with 8 wins, they're going to be right up with West Coast, and behind the big 2, the Bulldogs, and also the Saints. Lockett and Turner just off the pace of the ball, just having a bit of a talk to one another. Quick kick by Cook, no Swans back there. Evans, who had that big third quarter as a loose man in defence, kicks the ball hard to centre wing. Swans have got plenty of numbers, you'd expect, because Richmond have got them at the other end. Luff been terrific. Lewis lets loose, big one. Turner attacks and takes the mark, comes away, Plugger in hard, gives him a little shove. You always thought that was on down the ground. I think that happened because of what was going on about a minute before. Daffy, little one over the top. Rogers quickly to fall forward. Could Richardson take another specky? It comes to ground. Well done by Dunkley to Saddington. Saddington very good early when it was pretty important. Orchard's been great. Wharf's been fantastic. Lockett gives him a lead now, does Plugger. Funny old kick to fall forward. Taken by Gale. Hip and shoulder by Lockett. Gale out wide. Players going down everywhere. Wharf's cramped in the centre. Little kick across. And that kick from Kellaway gets to Bullis at centre wing. So it's 102-79. And the Swans back with a real sniff now. Richardson, who's been good, I reckon, with his 5 goals at centre wing.
So just on 2 minutes left in this game, and well and truly on his own is Michael Gale. Thought about playing on, has been called to do that, and has a couple of options. One in Matthew Knights, the other in Broderick, and he'll have a set shot. And the Tigers working on percentage, bridging the gap, but it looks like the horses bolt.
Well, it's been those kicks into the forward line that have really cost the Tigers all afternoon. They just haven't been able to find a leading player, like we saw then in Matthew Richardson driving down the middle of the ground and taking a mark.
So Wharf comes off to the applause as Broderick slots through a goal for the Tigers.
And a belated one at that. Now, probably well and truly out of their hands now, the Tigers. They can only just make the score a little bit more respectable with maybe one or, at a pinch, 2 very quick late ones. But the Sydney Swans supporters have got something to cheer about, and that is a big hometown win. When you consider the last time they were here, Sandy, it was against the Saints. They had a little bit of improving to do on that.
A 101-point improvement required there, but they've done it. A couple of the boys have done a good job for Sydney,
having a spell. As we go back to the centre, just a minute or so remaining. Dale Lewis has it held. Does get it away down towards the half-forward line. O'Loughlin was there, but he's beaten by Gasper. He's turned into a very, very good player. Off he goes to Kellaway. Schwass will set himself for the spoil. Does so with a mighty left fist towards the line. Daffy keeps it in play. Goes to right half-forward and finds Knights. What can the Tigers do? There's under a minute remaining. Matty Knights is 85 metres from home. Balks a little and then props. Kicks in towards full forward and Broderick takes the mark. Dipper's still down on the boundary line. Do you give them any hope, Dipper?
No hope at all.
I've never seen him or heard a man more depressed or
I was
distressed.
just trying to push him.
I know you were, me boy.
I've had opportunities all day. Unfortunately, they just can't put the ball between the sticks.
It's become a telling factor now, hasn't it, that Mark got the whole.
Absolutely.
Broderick. Again, well within range. At the moment, it's 85, plays 102. And Broderick has cut it by another 6 points. So Philander comes off the ground, Johnny Stevens comes on. And the Tigers close the gap. It's 102 playing 91. 11 points the margin with only seconds remaining.
Well, with just 9 seconds of play to go, it doesn't appear as if there'll be another score. But if, well, no, it's all over, isn't it, Sandy? Unfortunately, as you said, Brooksy, a very important mark down there. There'll be an inquest in every Tiger fan's home, I'm sure, tonight on that Ben Holland mark. But take nothing away from the Swans. They have earned their victory here today.
9 seconds left. Out of the middle. They need a lightning mark if Michael Gale can get it down there. Gets the hand pass away to Benny. Benny goes to half-forward. There's a siren. Victory to Sydney. After 3 weeks back in the winner's circle. Inspirational play from their skipper Paul Kelly. Creswell picking up plenty of touches. Excitement machine Troy Cook. Dipper's making his way down into the middle there. In fact, he's got Paul Kelly with him right now. Dipper.
Thanks very much, Sandy. Well, I'm very relieved, Captain. It's taken 3 weeks to be back on the winning list.
Yeah, mate, we really need that one. We've been struggling a bit, so it's good to get a win and feel the boys with the confidence back today.
Yeah, I might kick at a goal these days. You run into goal, off the ground, any way you can.
Yeah, we all like kicking goals, mate, but spend a bit more time up forward so I get a few more opportunities.
Yeah, and the Swans now, I mean, you keep in touch now with the 8 now.
Yeah, it was good to feel the games went our way, so good win for us, and hopefully that'll serve us.
How important was the win for confidence for the side?
Oh, really important, very important. I mean, if we had got beaten today, we could have been in all sorts of trouble. But boys really fired up, and I think they stood up today.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Yes, thank you, Dipper. Chatting there with Paul Kelly, who, although there's been talk of him having an injury, did show, like the side, showed glimpses of the Sydney of early on the season.
He's just an inspirational player, Sandy. There's not much more you can say about Paul Kelly that hasn't been said before. He's a genius when the ball is in dispute. He just hits the ball hard, and Tony Lockett also an important player today.
Still plenty more football to come. Some viewers shortly heading off to Subiaco for Fremantle and Carlton. But the Sydney players going down to meet their fans as Richmond leave the arena. The Tigers were gallant in defeat,
for
weren't
the
they?
Tigers to bounce back the way they did. I don't think they'd be happy with their performance today, because at no stage did they look like the Tiger machine that's been playing well for the last 6 or 7 weeks. But true to the commitment of the coach, they were competitive right to the finish. But at no stage, I think it's fair to say, Sandy, did they look like winning it from about half-time on. So they've got a fair bit of work to do. They aren't cemented in the final 8, but by golly, what a difference 4 points makes to this Sydney side. They've been under the pump in their hometown for some 2 weeks now, and people are all of a sudden starting to think that they were going to miss the 8, of all things.
And back here next week, which is very important. Tony Lockett finished the day with 4 goals. He heads in with Andrew Dunkley and the boys. Rowan Wharf, very, very impressive today. They certainly missed him over the last 3 weeks. 4 goals also to Paul Kelly.
Just saw Troy Luff going down there.
Great game from him.
Was a superb player today. He's had a funny career, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He struggled early, then in '96 he was absolutely brilliant for the Swans when they made the grand final. Pretty quiet last season, but back to his absolute best this year. And Terry Bartlett, we've seen him around the Swans camp for many, many years.
Tezza.
Luff had 24 possessions, and that's probably worthy of a free cordial or two from Terence Bartlett.
So the boys head in for the song, and they'll be glad to be able to sing it again after 3 weeks of losing.